Chapter 261. Han Iji covered her mouth and chuckled. As someone who also cultivated the Genesis Holy Scripture, she seemed to know the key to this. According to the chant recorded in the Genesis Holy Scripture, one could divide their mental force into many parts. This split mental force was extremely precise and could allow one to control each part to reach the same level of mental force as the original. This was also the reason why Lin Shan was able to perform so many miraculous operations while refining medicine. Aside from his understanding of the pill recipe and his completion of the alchemy hand seal, it was also directly related to the Genesis Holy Scripture. Han Iji's ability to cultivate the alchemy hand seal was also directly related to the Genesis Holy Scripture. Lin Shan's mental force was actually at the mid-stage of the spirit transformation realm, which was about the same as Han Ziyun's. However, the advantage he had from cultivating the Genesis Holy Scripture was a bit shocking. He could move dozens of mental force balls at the same time. How'd he do it? Han Ziyun was both shocked and calculating. If it was her, she could only move 20 mental force balls at the same time, and she could only do it no more than twice. After 2 times, her mental force would be exhausted by more than 80%. Too powerful. We found the right person. My Han family is really saved this time. The third elder was excited, and a rare glimmer of hope appeared in his old eyes. Third elder, I wonder if I can enter your legacy pavilion to take a look this time? Lin Shan laughed. The third elder nodded his head excitedly. As he spoke, he took out a pill recipe. No problem. I'll let the elders give you the permission today. By the way, Lin Shan, this is the pill recipe that Ziyun will be participating in the competition. You'll be the assistant alchemist to help Ziyun refine this pill. Because the name that was submitted is her name, it can't be changed. Lin Shan took the pill recipe. There was another way to refine pills in the alchemy world, and that was joint alchemy. To refine a high-grade pill with the help of many alchemists, the alchemist needed to have a deep understanding of the pill recipe and to match the needs of the main alchemist. Generally, the pills that were used for joint alchemy were high-grade and complicated. The grade wouldn't be too low. Looks like I'll have to use my strongest support. Lin Shan casually flipped through the pill recipe, and a confident smile appeared on his face. Within the Legacy Pavilion on the first floor, the entire building of the Legacy Pavilion was filled with an ancient aura. The ancient books placed in the surroundings were shabby, but not dirty. This was especially so for those with powerful mental strength. They could especially feel that there seemed to be some kind of spiritual will within the Scripture Pavilion. It was extremely mysterious. Lin Shan, Han Iji, and Han Ziyun were specially permitted to enter the Scripture Pavilion by the Han family elders. Lin Shan, can you tell me? How the hell did you let Han Iji advance to a Tier 4 alchemist in such a short time? Han Ziyun could not hold back her curiosity and asked. Lin Shan smiled indifferently. It's very simple. The ethereal physique automatically absorbs the spiritual chi of heaven and earth and converts it into spiritual energy. This advantage will cause a spiritual collision when using the alchemy hand seals, and you won't even be able to use the basic hand seals. However, if one's mental strength is divided into 2, one is responsible for guiding the spiritual chi into the pill recipe, while the other is responsible for controlling the alchemy hand seals. The problem will naturally be solved. In addition, Han Iji's mental strength is already at the mid-stage of the spirit transformation realm. Familiarizing herself with the alchemy hand seals and pill recipes is as easy as flipping her hand. Coupled with her unique, ethereal physique, she will have a steady supply of mental strength during the alchemy process. She won't feel tired at all. Isn't this miraculous physique made for alchemy? After speaking, Han Ziyun's heart could not calm down for a long time. However, she immediately questioned again. That's not right. If one's mental strength is divided into 2, then wouldn't it be much more difficult and exhausting to refine pills? This is a method that treats the symptoms but not the root cause. At this point, Lin Shan and Han Iji smiled knowingly and no longer revealed any more information. No matter how stupid Han Ziyun was, she could see that this was their secret. Naturally, they would not reveal it. As they spoke, the three of them officially entered the first floor of the Legacy Pavilion. Lin Chun immediately saw a dazzling array of attribute light balls. His eyes immediately lit up. We've struck gold. All of these attribute light balls are mental strength. Ha ha ha. Lin Chun rushed over and touched the entire first floor of the Legacy Pavilion. Han Ziyun's face was filled with doubt. How could this person be so mysterious one moment and crazy the next? Han Yiji smiled but did not say anything. Legends of her class monitor had always been spread in the branch school. Those who understood him would naturally know that they should never try to figure out Lin Chen's intentions. Host has received 90,000 points of mental strength, 50,000 points of mental strength, 110,000 points of mental strength. Host has received 120,000 points of cultivation method soul essence, 250,000 points of cultivation method soul essence, 200,000 points of cultivation method soul essence. The quality of these attribute light balls was extremely high. Lin Chen's mental strength had increased at an unprecedented rate. In the past, his opponent's mental strength was not high, so the value of the attribute light balls they dropped was relatively low. This caused Lin Chen's mental strength to increase at a steady rate. Of course, this so-called steady rate was Godspeed for normal people. After all, not everyone had a copy of the Taisher Holy Scripture. Lin Chen picked up a corner and suddenly found an exquisite green-gold treasure chest floating in front of him. He reached out and touched it. When he opened the treasure chest, the system screen popped up. Host has received the peak green rank alchemy hand seal. Lightning flash 1,000 seals. Note, this alchemy hand seal is extremely difficult to cultivate. If cultivated to perfection, its effect will be comparable to the blue rank hand seal. Lin Chen's pupil shrank. An alchemy hand seal comparable to the blue rank. The Han family's Legacy Pavilion was really full of treasures. I made the right choice this time. I must properly grasp this opportunity to enter this place. After the system recorded the lightning flash 1,000 seals, Lin Chen collected all the remaining attribute light balls in one go. Crack, crack! Just as he finished picking up the attribute light balls on the first floor, Lin Chen heard the sound of an eggshell cracking in his mind. Lin Chen's mental strength increased like a river flowing into the sea. His mental strength suddenly expanded by several times. Congratulations to the host for advancing to the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. Han Ziyun's mind went blank. She was dumbfounded. What kind of cultivation method was this? He could break through the spirit transformation realm just by randomly touching the Legacy Pavilion. Moreover, it was from the middle stage to the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. This was a shackle that blocked countless alchemists, and it was broken through by Lin Chen, just like that. Lin Chen, who are you? Are you the Holy Sun? Han Ziyun's teeth trembled as she excitedly grabbed Lin Chen's arm. Lin Chen chuckled. How can the Holy Sun be more handsome than me? Yiji, let's go to the second floor. Chapter 262. Ignoring Han Ziyun's confusion and shock, Lin Chen and Han Yiji headed to the second floor. The second floor of the Inheritance Pavilion was much smaller than the first floor. However, it was filled with pill formulas, extremely precious alchemy manuals, and a small number of alchemy hand seals. In the eyes of Han Yiji and Han Ziyun, this incomparably dim second floor was filled with resplendent light in Lin Chen's eyes. The attribute light pillar that Lin Chen saw at the beginning was actually the golden attribute light ball in front of him. Walking to the center, Lin Chen grabbed the golden elemental light ball and placed it in his palm. Host has obtained the characteristic Rune Evolution Stone. The third Rune Evolution Stone. Lin Chen suppressed the surging emotions in his heart and issued an order. System, I want to upgrade the corrosive rune. System received. 1 Rune Evolution Stone has been consumed. Upgrading the level 3 corrosive rune. At this point, Lin Chen's 3 characteristic runes had all advanced to level 3. The runes have been upgraded, and my spiritual power has broken through. This trip was not made in vain. After putting away the last rune evolution stone, the second floor no longer had any light from the attribute light balls. It was completely dark. These alchemy manuals? Lin Shun flipped through the alchemy manual that was recorded on the second floor, and his eyes flashed. These handwritten alchemy manuals all recorded the essence of alchemy knowledge and experience. Some were divided into areas of medicinal herbs. Some were divided into the various details that needed to be improved during alchemy, and some were about alchemy hand seals and how to perfectly bring out the characteristics of medicinal herbs. There was no sloppiness, and all of them were the essence of alchemy. Even Han Ziyun and Han Iji fell silent in an instant. These manuals all required the use of spiritual power to read. Both of them had the spiritual power of the middle stage of the spirit transformation realm, so they wouldn't easily feel tired after reading these manuals. Lin Shun had almost sunk into the sea of knowledge he was absorbing. He withdrew his consciousness and looked around the second level as he exclaimed in surprise. If I could stay here for a few months, my alchemy skills would definitely improve by several levels. As expected of an ancient family, their foundation is indeed far superior to first-rate powers. Just as Lin Shun was feeling regretful, the system notification made him feel refreshed. The system reminds the host that the host can consume the technique essence to store all the secret manuals here into the system, but not the pill formulas. The process of creating a pill recipe was extremely complicated, and the amount of spiritual information it contained could be said to be massive. Even the system was unable to record a large number of pill recipes for Lin Shun in one go. The system can record it? Then I'll record them all. Collecting all of them requires 5 million cultivation technique soul essences. Would you like to collect them? 5 million points. Lin Shun fell into deep thought for a moment, then gritted his teeth and nodded. Confirm. Understood. In some ways, the alchemy manuals and secret manuals here were even more important than the alchemy hand seals. These were the precious experiences and knowledge that had been recorded down by the ancestors of the Han family. Obtaining them would be a permanent benefit. The system has finished recording. All the handwritten alchemy manuals and secret manuals have been copied into the system. If the host wants to learn them, he can choose the inheritance by consuming the technique essence. The system screen popped up again, and Lin Shun sat down cross-legged, fully immersed in the system. System, I want to inherit the Guanghan medicine manual and hand seal manipulation technique. Lin Shun consumed the technique essence again, and this time, he directly inherited the alchemy manuals. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed, and the three of them had gained something in the Pavilion of Legacy. This Lin Shun, the ceremony is about to begin. What is he still doing? Outside the Pavilion of Legacy, Han Zun, who was the main alchemist, was burning with anxiety. There's still half a day left. Shall we go in? Han Yu looked at the third elder. No need, he's already out. Suddenly, the third elder's eyes flickered, and he stroked his beard with a smile. Boom! Outside the Pavilion of Legacy, a silver-robed young man stepped out slowly. His spiritual energy was like a bottomless abyss, unfathomable. His eyes seemed to contain the sea of stars, vast, and deep. After this seclusion, Lin Shun's alchemy skills had already transformed to a very deep level. To put it bluntly, even Lin Shun felt that the previous him only knew a little about alchemy. It seems that little friend's gains in the Pavilion of Legacy this time are beyond this old man's expectations. The third elder nodded satisfactorily with a smile. It's all right, I'm not the main character. I'm just a support alchemist. Lin Shun's words made everyone laugh and fly into the sky. The third elder took the lead and flew out of the Nether Heaven territory. In the afternoon, Lin Shun and the Han family arrived at an independent space. This place was once a space created by an almighty from an ancient family. We call it Gudan City. The third elder had just finished introducing Lin Shun when a quiet city appeared in front of them, floating in the air. It had become a city in the sky. Stepping into the city, it was desolate and quiet. There were already more than 20 people standing in the square in the center of the city. Lin Chen's eyes narrowed. These people were all dragons and phoenixes among men. They were all extremely young, and all of them were Heaven Star Border Stage 5 and above. In terms of cultivation talent, they weren't inferior to any of the top Green Merit or Blue Merit students in the Heavenly Song Institute. All of them are prodigies from the ancient families, and Lin Chen's pupils shrank slightly. Among the 20 over people, there were 2 young men. The cultivation method and bloodline aura that they cultivated revealed the same aura as Ning Zhan, who he had fought with before. However, the latter's cultivation technique and bloodline seemed to be several times stronger than Ning Zhan's. Even the ancient families, the Ning family, are here. Lin Chen exhaled as the corners of his lips curled up into a smile. His eyes flashed with a fiery desire for battle. Oh, finally, the Han family is here too? If you ask me, why is this family qualified to participate in the alchemy ceremony? It doesn't matter if they participate or not. They'll just be at the bottom anyway. Seeing the Han family enter the square, the prodigies from the ancient families shook their heads and laughed. Some of them were so arrogant that they didn't even look at the Han family. Han Ziyun's face was red with anger as she gritted her teeth. The third elder seemed to be used to it as he raised his hand to an old man sitting in the square. The old man announced expressionlessly, "The Han family is here. The alchemy ceremony officially begins." The third elder patted Han Ziyun's shoulder and said softly, "Shut them up with your strength. Ziyun, it's useless to be angry." Han Ziyun nodded her head forcefully. Her eyes were filled with fighting spirit and battle intent. The third elder nodded his head and sent a pleading look to Lin Chen before retreating to the spectator seats. Lin Chen looked around secretly. This ceremony seemed to be extremely secretive. There were only a few hundred people present. However, everyone present was extremely powerful. They were all experts of the older generation who were related to the ancient families. Chapter 263. 12 gigantic demonic eye stones floated in the air, projecting light that enveloped the entire square. Han family, remote sky secret realm. All the prodigies of the Han family held their breaths as they stared at the 12 light screens in the air. This grand ceremony was related to the cultivation lifeline of the Han family's younger generation. Junior Lin Chen is an unparalleled existence in our Heavenly Song Academy. With him participating, even if his opponents are the prodigies of the ancient families, it shouldn't be a problem for him to get into the top 3. Lin Tianjian stood among the Han family's crowd and took a sip of wine. Not necessarily. This grand ceremony is a joint alchemy. No matter how strong Junior Lin Chen is, he's only an auxiliary alchemist. The one who really decides the grade of the pill is Miss Han Ziyun, who's the main alchemist. Luing shook her head and said with worry in her eyes, "I believe in the class monitor. As long as he's here, we'll never fail." Han Yiji clenched her fists as she stared at the 12 light screens. Inside the secret chamber, more than a dozen figures were sitting in it. This time, it should also end with our Ning clan taking first place. After all, the Dan family and Mo family, which are the best alchemists, don't bother to participate in such a grand ceremony. Ning Lanfeng should be able to get first place. I heard that kid has even successfully cultivated the blue-tier alchemy hand seal. His alchemy skills are probably comparable to those monsters in the Dan family. The figures in the secret chamber were laughing and chatting. The 2 beautiful figures sitting at the head of the table suddenly trembled. It was as if they saw the back of a familiar silver-robed figure in the crowd. Could it be him? Gudon City Square. Young Master Ning Lanfeng, what grade of pill are you planning to refine this time? A pretty girl from a humble family with skin whiter than snow curiously asked the elegant white-robed young man with a sweet smile. Her beautiful eyes were filled with admiration and worship. The white-robed youth held a white feather fan and smiled. He had an unruly and arrogant look on his face. Haha, it's a top-tier 5th-grade pill. Our Ning family saintess, Ning Qingxian, will be attending this ceremony. Naturally, I have to bring out our Ning family's alchemy skills. This sentence and name caused Lin Chun to freeze on the spot. Wow, peak stage 5. Looks like young Master Ning Lanfeng will take first place this time. We can only fight for second and third place. A few beautiful young girls surrounded Ning Lanfeng and chattered. Lin Chun turned around and took a deep look at the 12 Devil Eye Stones. At this moment, the two pairs of eyes seemed to have transcended time and space. However, the other party could clearly feel the fighting spirit in the young man's eyes. Inside the secret space chamber. Sister, it's him, it's really him. The petite girl was so excited that she was about to jump up and down as she transmitted her voice to him. It hasn't even been a year, and he's already grown enough to participate in such a grand ceremony. It had been a long time since a ripple appeared in her heart. When she recalled the birthday present that the young man had given her that day, a knowing smile appeared on her face. He's here. She saw with her own eyes that the young man who had been creating miracles from the Shenwu faction had entered the vast stage of the spiritual state. The scene of this grand ceremony would be broadcasted to the high-level members of the ancient families through the Devil Eye Stones. Inside the square, the rules are as follows. The duration of the ceremony is 10 days. All the main pharmacists and auxiliary pharmacists are requested to refine the highest quality pills within 10 days. The aristocratic families that are in the top 3 in terms of ingredients and pill recipes will be qualified to compete for the Holy Flame. The black-robed elder hovered in the air and announced the rules coldly. Everyone took out their ingredients and elixir furnaces with ease. Since the Han family had been pushed out of the ancient families, the grand ceremony arranged for the Han family to be in a remote location. Out of the 12 Devil Eye Stones, only 3 of them could illuminate the main alchemists of the Han family. As for the assistant alchemists standing 10 meters away from the main alchemists, only 1 Devil Eye Stone could illuminate them. Even their faces couldn't be seen clearly. This difference in treatment immediately caused the Han family members in the remote sky secret realm to protest. Unfortunately, they weren't present, so their protests were ineffective. Besides, with the Han family's current status, they had no right to protest. Now, the grand ceremony officially begins. If the hourglass spins 5 times, it means that the time is up. The black-robed elder waved his hand, and a giant hourglass appeared in the square. Lin Shin, can you keep up with my pace? We've changed the elixir recipe this time. It's impossible to make it to the top 3 with just an ordinary tier 5 elixir. Han Ziyin turned around with a serious expression. She had actually decided to change the original recipe. It was obvious that Han Ziyin really wanted to win this time. She wanted to take revenge for the Han family. Go ahead and do it. With me as your ace alchemist, I can guarantee that you, the main character, will make it to the top. Lin Chen smiled casually. It was hard to tell if he was being serious or just teasing her. Han Ziyun flicked her finger and sent Lin Chen a scroll of elixir recipes. This is the recipe for the Golden Dragon Eye Elixir. If you can successfully make it, its quality will be at least at the peak of tier 5. You can take a look at the recipe first. I'll start first. Han Ziyun slapped the lid of the cauldron, and the surrounding treasures floated into the air. Her jade-like hands quickly formed a hand seal, and mental energy surged out like a river into the sea. This scene attracted the curious gazes of some of the older generation. The Han family's alchemist this time was quite interesting. This level of mental energy was second only to the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. It was at the peak of the mid-stage. When they turned their curious gazes to the alchemist, they almost laughed out loud. This alchemist was actually reading the recipe? Was this okay? Even the young geniuses from the ancient families couldn't help but laugh. Where do they find this talent? My God, is he here to make fun of us? Ha ha! Reading the recipe on the spot? I'm afraid that after reading it, he'll have used up half of his mental energy, right? Well, at least from the looks of it, the Han family really did get first place. Ha ha! Many of the young geniuses mocked and ridiculed. Even the older generation experts in the spectator stands shook their heads and laughed. Old Han, out of all the young geniuses in your batch, only this little girl is passable. Look at that alchemist, what a crooked one. However, it's very difficult. If the alchemist can't keep up with the alchemist's pace, then the alchemist will use up a lot of his mental energy. If there's a mistake later on, then he won't have another chance. That's right. Tier 5 pills and above are completely different from Tier 5 pills. When we were young, it would take us 20 days or a month to refine a Tier 5 pill. Faced with the doubts of many of the older generation alchemists, the Han family's third elder only said one sentence. I believe in these two young geniuses. Since my Han family dares to come here, it proves that we're not here to be a laughingstock. Chapter 264. The third elder's eyes shone with an incomparably calm confidence. He believed in Lin Chen's strength. Conservatively speaking, he was definitely in the top 3 among all the young prodigies present. With him assisting Han Ziyun, it would not be bad. Han Ziyun endured the mockery from all around. Tears welled up in her beautiful eyes. Just then, a pure 10,000 spirits flower shot into her cauldron. This is... Han Ziyun was stunned. She looked at Lin Chen in disbelief. His abyssal cauldron was already refining all kinds of herbs. He was very familiar with the process and was almost as fast as the main alchemist. What's wrong? Main alchemist, you're the main character now. Can't you keep up with my pace? Lin Chen smiled mockingly. With the system recording the recipe, he could learn it in an instant. He shook the cauldron with one hand. Another class 5 dire bee's core was refined by him and shot in a Han Ziyun's cauldron. Han Ziyun smiled knowingly. The beautiful woman smiled sweetly, looking extremely elegant. Of course not. As if their minds were connected, Han Ziyun performed a set of blue-tier alchemy hand seals. It was so smooth that it shocked everyone. She learned the recipe on the spot so quickly. Who's that assistant alchemist? Impossible. Are they just putting on a show? What a joke. This main alchemist has some skills. His spiritual realm is not inferior to ours. Who knows, they might really be the dark horse this time. Many Heaven's favorites revealed serious expressions. Their eyes were sharp and their hands were quick. They immediately began to refine, unwilling to be left behind. A bunch of mortals. From the moment Ning Lanfeng, appeared, you were destined to fight for second place. Rumble. The moment Ning Lanfeng performed the alchemy hand seals, a violent spiritual hurricane swept across the entire place. A large number of high-tier herbs spun like a funnel and were poured into the cauldron. The assistant alchemist could only help him with some of the most basic herbs. It was as if Ning Lanfeng was the master alchemist. This is the power of the blue-tier alchemy hand seals. As expected, the blue-tier alchemy hand seals can't compare at all. Blue-tier alchemy hand seals. Even our Chun clan doesn't have many of them. All of them are in the hands of those old seniors who don't show themselves at all. Only clans like the Dan clan and the Mo clan can restrain Ning Lanfeng. The ancient families chosen by the gods are indeed different. Chill. Speaking so loudly, do you want to die? Many of the young geniuses sighed inwardly and threw themselves into the process of refining medicine. Watching a 5th-level alchemist refine medicine, it was not an exaggeration to call it enjoying an artistic performance. Not to mention the existence of alchemists. Even people who were not alchemists could feel that pleasing technique and skill that extracted every strand of energy from all things in the world, using the most suitable method to condense them together. Everyone raised their heads in anticipation of the outcome of the battle. The Han family's stunning opening was completely suppressed by Ning Lanfeng and the other prodigies. Gradually, they were forgotten in a corner like the demonized stone. Time ticked by. 9 days passed in the blink of an eye. Over the past 9 days, some of the veteran alchemists present had already noticed some of the details. Among all the main alchemists present, besides Ning Lanfeng, only Han Ziyun's spirit power was still in a relatively good state. The reason was the Han family's auxiliary alchemist. On the side, Lin Chen activated the 8 Desolation mystical fire and supported Han Ziyun with ease. In fact, he had already prepared the parts that Han Ziyun hadn't done yet. This was simply foreseeing the next steps that the main alchemist would take. There was only one possibility for this phenomenon, and that was that the auxiliary alchemist level was higher than the main alchemists and had a deeper understanding of the pill recipe. It can't be wrong. This kid's spirit power has already entered the late stage of the spirit transformation realm. Although he's using a mid-level blue-tier alchemy hand seal, his refining technique is unique. It doesn't seem to follow the rules, but it's actually linked to one another. Especially when he was refining the myriad cyan spirit turtle, the cyan blood shell powder refined from the turtle shell just happened to fuse with the blood spirit vine and melt the blood spirit vine skin. He perfectly used the most troublesome characteristics of the two herbs to offset each other. This old man has never seen such an ingenious and creative refining technique. The few alchemy grandmasters and grandmasters present had already begun to notice Lin Chen's uniqueness. And the most shocked person was none other than Han Ziyun, the main alchemist. The herbs that she took over from Lin Chen were all in the most ideal state that she was most satisfied with. This was even more perfect than when she was in charge of refining it herself. Could it be that he knows more about the Golden Dragon Eye transformation pill than I do? How long has it been since he read the pill recipe? This is too absurd. The only conclusion that Han Ziyun could come up with was that Lin Shun happened to see the Golden Dragon Eye transformation pill's recipe in the scripture pavilion and recorded it. Other than that, she couldn't come up with a second reasonable or acceptable explanation. Dang! A violent sound rang out from the cauldron, and a beam of green light shot up into the sky. A prodigy was the first to succeed. The surrounding Ling Qi instantly condensed into dense and resplendent pill clouds. The two alchemists from the ancient families looked at each other excitedly. Pill clouds condensed, but not shaped. An ordinary level 5 high-grade pill. The black-robed elder in charge of the ceremony casually swept a glance over and closed his eyes to rest. Boom! Strong winds blew, and purple light shone brilliantly. Another level 5 high-grade pill had been born. It was on par with the previous one. Some of the older alchemists looked at the youngsters with approval. It was already not easy for them to reach such heights at their age. Looks like there should be a place for my Bai family in the top 3. At this time, 2 beautiful ladies in long dresses stood up slowly. The main alchemist raised her hand slightly, and the cauldron released a faint red glow. Chi. Dense pill clouds condensed, forming a faint red rabbit-shaped pill cloud. It was beautiful and dazzling. Ultra-grade level 5 high-grade pill. Good seedlings. The black-robed elder looked at the 2 ladies with a slightly gentler gaze and closed his eyes to rest. This jade rabbit-shaped pill cloud attracted the praise of the older alchemists. Being able to refine such a pill at such a young age, these 2 ladies might have a chance to advance to level 6 in the future. Level 6 alchemists were rare even in the spiritual state. Even the ancient families had to treat them as VIPs. Sister Bai, it's too early to be happy. At this time, another 2 youths in jade robes laughed heartily. In an instant, the winds and clouds surged in Gudan City, and strange phenomena appeared. High-grade pills, which were rarely seen in the outside world, had appeared at this moment. Only an extremely small number of people stared at the inconspicuous silver-robed youth sitting in the corner. Those experts of the older generation seemed to have sensed something terrifying. A hint of unconcealable shock appeared in his aged eyes. Chapter 265. Chi. Another several thousand feet long pill cloud spread out in the void and condensed into the shape of a sword. Rank 5 high-grade elixir pills. You could do it with ease. High talent. The black-robed elder commented, but there was a rare look of praise in his eyes. The 2 youths in jade robes looked at the 2 ladies from the Bai family with arrogance. The 2 ladies gritted their teeth, and the 2 of them snorted coldly, ignoring them. At this moment, there were 2 prodigies who were in the final stages of condensing their elixirs. However, due to insufficient mental strength, they failed at the last step. The energy of their elixirs leaked in all directions, causing countless energy turbulences to erupt. Luckily, every pill refining area in the plaza was protected by a spatial barrier, so they were not affected at all. After that, another two prodigies produced pills, but they were only at Tier 5. This kind of achievement was enough to be proud of in the outside world. Any faction or sect was in need of young prodigies. But in this place, where prodigies from ancient families gathered, it was not enough to be called outstanding. Boom! The pill cloud formed, and the pills produced by the two families were at Tier 5. The phenomenon did not stop. At this moment, a faint golden pill mist lingered in the air like immortal chi. Many people's gazes were attracted. This time, it was the inconspicuous Han family. With Han Ziyun as the main alchemist, she was about to enter the final step of pill refining, pill condensation. There's such energy fluctuations even before pill condensation. If it's a finished pill, it will definitely be 2 grade higher. It should be a tier 5 pill or above. They are indeed qualified to fight for the top 3 spots this time. Looks like the Han family is indeed a rising star this time. They have regained some of their prestige from back then. The black-robed elder sighed, a rare look of hope in his eyes. Han Ziyun's snow-white forehead was covered in sweat. With her alchemy skills, the success rate of refining the Golden Dragon Eye Transformation Pill was less than 40%. The reason why she was able to refine the pill so smoothly this time was all because of Lin Chen's perfect support and cooperation. But at this crucial moment, even her mental energy, which she had preserved previously, was being depleted rapidly. The final step of condensing the pill was the responsibility of the main alchemist. The auxiliary alchemists had already completed their task at this stage. In other words, the current Lin Shan was basically unable to interfere. As long as Han Ziyun was able to successfully condense her core, she would have the qualifications to chase after the top 3 in this ceremony. Bang! Suddenly, a ray of light appeared. The entire audience was greeted by a man's wild laughter. Ha ha! I have finally finished refining the Blood Dragon Pill. This time, the top 3 will belong to my Shao clan. The blood-red Dan cloud condensed into the shape of a dragon, as the 2 young men in red clapped their hands and laughed wildly. High-grade tier, 5 top, grade medicinal pill. Good fellow, he's almost touching the peak of tier 5. The Shao clan is really a bunch of lunatics. Not only are they crazy in battle, but they are also crazy in alchemy. Han Ziyun's expression changed slightly, and her heart sank. This was a top-grade 5th-tier pill, and it had almost completely suppressed her Golden Dragon Eye Transformation Pill. Well, this year's competition is really boring. The young man's arrogant and cold voice slowly rose. The Ning clan's heaven's favorite, Ning Lanfeng, who had been sitting in midair, slowly stood up. He flicked the cauldron with his finger, and the shaking cauldron shot out a pillar of light that resembled the sun and the moon. Layers of dense Dan cloud shot out. Every layer of pill cloud was thousands of feet wide, and it emitted a beautiful and gorgeous glow. As the Dan clouds overlapped, there were 3 layers of Dan clouds. The other dawn appeared small and insignificant under these 3 layers of Dan clouds. It was like the difference between the stars and the moon. They were completely reduced to the background. The Dan cloud is a phenomenon caused by the condensation of an overly high-level Dan cloud. Only a top-grade 5th-tier Dan can have so many layers of Dan cloud. A few experienced alchemists immediately said in a low voice, 3 layers of Dan cloud, mid-grade 5th-tier Dan cloud. Although he's arrogant, his talent is truly outstanding. The elder in black who was hosting the ceremony let out a rare exclamation. Han Ziyun's expression was a little shaken and nervous. The 1st and 2nd place were almost confirmed now. If a high-quality Dan cloud appeared in the remaining 3rd place, her chances would be slim. Please, I have to go up. Even if it's just this once, I have to fight for the Han clan's honor. Han Ziyun prayed silently in her heart. When she suddenly heard that familiar and crazy laughter, her pretty face instantly turned pale. Ha ha ha. Han Ziyun. The Han clan wants to get third place? Dream on. In the alchemy area opposite the Han clan, a skinny young man laughed with a hideous face. His hands were like dragons, and the moment he slapped the cauldron, energy wave shot up into the sky. Clang! Boom! The crisp sound of metal colliding and vibration rang out. The huge Dan cloud continued to expand and finally divided into 2 layers of Dan cloud, which floated in the air. Multiple layers of Dan cloud, another top-grade 4th-tier Dan cloud. Its quality was second only to Ning Lanfeng. I didn't expect it to be someone from the Shui clan. This is the biggest dark horse of this year. This kid is about the same age as the brats in our clan, but he can already refine top-grade 5th-tier Dan cloud. It's almost certain that he'll become a 6th-tier Dan cloud alchemist in the future. F***CK. What kind of luck does the Shui clan have to have someone like this? The prodigies of the ancient families and veteran Dan cloud alchemist masters secretly clicked their tongues. They didn't expect such a big dark horse to appear so close to the end. Ning Lanfeng looked at him with interest, then sneered disdainfully. Shui Hao, it's you. Han Ziyun was startled and gritted her teeth. This Shui Hao was one of the men who had pursued her. However, her heart was focused on alchemy, and she had never thought about the matters between men and women. Thus, she rejected his pursuit without hesitation. How dare you reject me? B***TCH? Who do you think you are? Ha ha ha. I like your expression now. I like it very much. How does it feel to have your last ray of hope extinguished? How does it feel to fall from hope into the abyss of despair? Shui Hao's thin and weak body seemed to hide a demon. His crazy and terrifying laughter made many people frown. There were less than 4 hours left before the end of the ceremony, and less than 40 minutes left to condense the Dan. Everything was set, and the result was set. The top 3 would definitely be Ning Lanfeng and Shui Hao, as well as the Shao clan's top-grade 5th-tier Blood Dragon Dan. Everything is over. The 3rd elder of the Han clan was in a daze. After his old face trembled a few times, he looked as if he had aged 10 years. Han Ziyun, who was standing in front of the cauldron, trembled violently. She clenched her teeth and trembled. Tears streamed down her white cheeks as she cried silently. The Han clan had fought so hard for this opportunity. For this ceremony, she didn't know how long she had prepared and sacrificed so much of her personal time to focus on alchemy. This time, she carried the hopes of the entire clan, but she didn't expect to fall short. Chapter 266. Han Family, Heavenly Netherworld Realm. The people of the Han family who were looking at the 12 demonic eye stones appeared lifeless. Everyone's heart was filled with sorrow and despair that they could not get rid of. This might be the last time their Han family would have a chance to compete with the ancient families. They didn't expect that after preparing for so long, they still couldn't enter the top 3. After this ceremony, the Han family might never have a chance to compete with the ancient families again. They would never be able to make a comeback. We are no longer descendants of the ancient families. Let's face the reality. We've lost. Didn't they say that Big Brother Lin Shun from Heavenly Song Academy is very powerful? Why do we lose? Why, cousin? It's not that Big Brother Lin Shun isn't powerful enough. Our opponents are just too strong. The Han family's prodigies were filled with a suffocating and despairing atmosphere. Even Lin Tianjian, Xia Feiyu, and Lu Ying could feel the heavy despair. When a person was in the abyss, no matter how small the hope was, they would still risk their lives to hold on to that ray of light. Perhaps in the past 100,000 years, the Han family had never given up on the idea of reviving the family. Generation after generation, generation after generation. When some of the higher-ups in the secret space saw this scene, they couldn't help but feel depressed and lost. Could it be that the heavens really want our Han family to die? We can't even grasp this last sliver of hope. However, in the entire Han family, there seemed to be one person who didn't show the same despair as the people around her. That was Han Yiji. Han Yiji's bright, eyes stared at the blurry figure projected by the demonic ice stone. The hope in her eyes hadn't been completely extinguished. The Han family still lost in the end. If they can't enter the top 3 this time, I'm afraid they won't have another chance in the future. There's nothing to sympathize with. The weak are prey to the strong. They're trash that can't even be considered an ancient family anymore. To give them another chance to compete for the Holy Flame baptism is already a show of respect. They are just a bunch of degenerated trash. After 100,000 years of change, how much of the Han family's heritage did they have left to regain their former glory? They're just struggling at death's door. Even a branch family of my Ning family is about to surpass them. There's nothing to sympathize with. Many veteran alchemists had different opinions about the Han family. Most of them were disdainful and indifferent towards the Han family. This was especially true for the upper echelons of the ancient families who hadn't arrived yet. None of them sympathized with the Han family. Space Chamber. After this, the Han family should no longer have the qualifications to pester us. Our ancient families can be considered to have eliminated a remnant. Let the Han family fend for itself. If this was the immemorial era, any ancient family that declined would be invaded by other ancient families. It's been much more peaceful since the Age of the Gods. Isn't it God's mercy that allowed the Han family to live for hundreds of thousands of years? The group of people of the Ning family who were hiding in the void shook their heads and laughed coldly. That's enough. In the future, don't mention these things in front of Saintess Qing Xian. At this moment, an aged voice silenced all the Ning clan's experts. They kept quiet out of fear and didn't dare to make a sound. Everything is still unknown. Suddenly, the Saintess Ning Qing Xian, who was sitting at the front of the chamber, spoke for the first time. "Oh, Saintess, why do you say that?" The old man asked in surprise. The Saintess had actually taken the initiative to speak. Just what had attracted her interest. "Because he's here." In the darkness, the beautiful woman's peerless smile reflected a faint radiance. Hearing the surrounding young prodigies and alchemists' disdain, the tense Han Ziyun felt a sharp pain in her heart. She was so angry that she wanted to turn around and retort. However, a wave of exhaustion came from her spiritual sea, causing her to fall to the ground. Han Ziyun stretched out a strong arm, and what entered her eyes was the bright smile of a youth. "Why do you have such a bitter face? Smile a little. You're the main character today." Han Ziyun's eyes reddened as tears flickered in her eyes. She bit her red lips and felt wronged. "Are you still going to make fun of me at a time like this?" "Make fun of you? I don't have that kind of hobby. I said that you're the main character today, so you'll be the main character today. I said that you'll get first place, so you'll definitely get first place." Lin Shen helped Han Ziyun up and smiled. He waved his hand and turned around. "Just continue the process of condensing the pill. Don't worry about me." Lin Shen returned to his position as an assistant alchemist. This was the first time the black-robed elder noticed Lin Shen. "Oh, that young assistant alchemist from the Han family? What is he trying to do?" Just as the black-robed elder was puzzled, Lin Shen shook the dark abyss cauldron with one hand. A wave of energy as vast as the ocean could be vaguely seen coming out of the cauldron. This strange phenomenon stunned all the experienced alchemists and young prodigies. His cauldron actually has such a vast amount of energy? What is this assistant alchemist trying to do? No, their pills are already in the final stage of condensing. There's less than 40 minutes left before the complete pill is born. What is he trying to do in such a short time? Is he trying to break a broken pot? If he adds even a little bit of energy into the pill at this time, it might cause the entire process to be ruined. Furthermore, he's an assistant alchemist. The process of condensing the pill is controlled by the main alchemist. He doesn't even know how far the pill's energy has progressed. Regardless of whether it was the young prodigies or the experienced alchemists, everyone was staring at Lin Shen's position. The 3 alchemists who had noticed Lin Shen's strange behavior from the start were all shocked. This young man, he's already predicted this from the start. Before the main alchemist was about to enter the pill condensing stage, he was already preparing. He's not trying to break a broken pot, nor is he foolhardy. He's already calculated this result from the start. The good show is just about to begin. Inside the plaza, Lin Shun placed his index and middle fingers on both sides of the cauldron and clapped them together. All the energy surged like a dragon, forming a golden dragon that shot out and plunged into the fist-sized embryonic pill. Han Ziyun stared blankly at Lin Shun. She didn't expect him to do this at all. Ziyun, don't look around. Condense the pill. Lin Shun secretly transmitted his voice. Han Ziyun immediately reacted. Her pale face was filled with an unyielding fighting spirit. Han Ziyun's mental strength was completely controlled around the embryonic pill. The pill was rapidly forming. Is he crazy? An assistant alchemist dares to interfere with the main alchemist's pill condensation? Most of the alchemists were shocked speechless. Ning Lanfeng's eyes were fixed on the embryonic pill. The embryonic pill didn't explode. It's absorbing this energy. Chapter 267. Just when everyone thought that the Han family's assistant pill refiner had given up, that golden dragon energy actually entered the embryonic pill without any signs of rejection. This scene caused all the pill refiners present to be completely dumbfounded. What kind of situation was this? Why did the assistant pill refiner interfere so much during the pill refinement process? But the pill refiner still managed to merge perfectly. The pill refinement process had already been completed, and the pill was already close to completion. All that was left was to use mental power to control the pill refinement process to complete the fusion process. At this time, any kind of energy input could destroy the energy within the embryonic pill, causing the pill to be destroyed. This kind of fatal problem was as dangerous as changing the pill recipe on the spot. Furthermore, the most important thing was that even if the pill recipe was changed, it should be done by the main pill refiner. The assistant pill refiner definitely did not have the right to make a move. The assistant pill refiner had already stopped all other methods during the pill refinement process. The only one who truly understood the pill refinement process was the main pill refiner. There were too many questions and points of suspicion. Regardless of whether it was the veteran pill refiners or the genius pill refiners participating in the ceremony, all of their faces were filled with confusion and shock. With Lin Shen's current pill refinement skills, assisting Han Ziyun in refining pills was as easy as blowing off dust. But in the 9 days that he was assisting Han Ziyun, he was not purely assisting Han Ziyun. Apart from assisting from the side, he was also secretly changing the pill recipe. That's right, changing a 5th-level pill recipe on the spot. This was something that even an alchemist grandmaster would not dare to imagine. But it had actually happened to Lin Shun. If it was the Lin Shun before entering the Pavilion of Legacy, even if he had the guts, he would not have the ability to do so. But the large amount of pill refinement manuals in the Pavilion of Legacy was the accumulated wealth of an entire ancient family. Lin Shun had only used the system to inherit less than 1/10 of these manuals, and his pill refinement skills had already risen by several levels. But because the Han family was arranged to be at the very edge of the hall, apart from the 3 carefree pill refiners, no one paid any attention to the Han family. Not to mention the Han family's assistant pill refiners. Before the grand ceremony started, all the ancient paragons and even veteran alchemists practically treated Lin Shun as a filler. Modifying the pill formula on the spot means that the alchemist's understanding of the pill formula is equal to or surpasses that of the creator of the pill formula. Apart from that, you must know the strengths and weaknesses of the herbs like the back of your hand. You must ensure that the energy of hundreds of herbs will not be rejected or restrained when mixed with other energies. This test of an alchemist's experience and knowledge is practically devastating. Moreover, all of this must still be based on the main pharmacist's operation. From the perspective of an auxiliary pharmacist, even this old man has no clue how he's going to modify the pill recipe at the final step of condensing the pill. A rare look of excitement and passion appeared on the faces of the 3 alchemists. Their long-extinguished yearning for alchemy and passion for exploration had once again reignited in Lin Chen's body. It was like a beginner's desire to learn. Proficiency in pill recipes? Lin Chen had already reached the highest level in the system inheritance. A vast amount of knowledge on medicinal herbs and refining techniques. Lin Chen had even obtained the essence and experience of countless Han family ancestors in the Han family's Sutra Pavilion. How far had the assistant pill refinement progressed? Lin Chen had secretly modified the pill recipe, added a small amount of herbs, and secretly guided the direction of the finished product. With his purple gold eyes, he could observe the process at all times. Everything seemed to be rash and reckless, seemingly insane, but in reality, everything was going according to Lin Ming's plan. Holding 3 10,000 spirits marrow and 1 golden dragon fruit in his hand, Lin Chen threw them into the cauldron. The corners of his mouth curled into a confident smile, as if he could control the wind and clouds. From now on, it was time for him to shine. Break! Fire-attributed battle, Qi surged out. Lin Chen activated the 8 desolate mystical fire seal with both hands, and 3 layers of fire seal shattered the 3 10,000 spirit earth marrow. Spirit water, 3 pure ones. Water-attributed battle Qi appeared from Lin Chen's fingertips. The gentle water energy embellished the gold Long Qingguo in the pill furnace, perfectly guiding out the gold Long Qingguo's spiritual energy and boundless vitality. 2 types of pill refining hand seals. The black-robed elder's eyes shone brightly. Lin Chen's 2 types of pill refining hand seals were switched freely and smoothly. Batch after batch of herbs were sent into the pill furnace by him. His refining technique had reached perfection, turning something rotten into something miraculous. What precise refining techniques? Every single herb is added without any flaw or flaw. The moment the refinement is completed, they are sent into the embryonic pill. But everything is still unknown. There's less than 45 minutes left. It's too difficult to completely refine a pill recipe in such a short time. Even if there's the slightest mistake, it will be a complete loss. The 3 Grandmaster alchemists secretly worried for Lin Chen. Even the black-robed elder who was hosting the competition spoke solemnly. To do this, the effort this kid has to put in is at least 10 times more difficult than the master alchemist changing the recipe on the spot. Without a doubt, this kid's talent is not inferior to Ning Lanfeng's. Inside the secret chamber, what's going on? Why is everyone looking in the same direction? It's the Han family. The embryonic pill of the Han family is still refining a large amount of energy. That's not right. That girl from the Han family is only refining a level 5 premium elixir. How can she attract everyone's attention? No, it's the assistant alchemist. There's something wrong with the assistant alchemist of the Han family. What? The assistant alchemist of the Han family? What kind of weirdo is that? What kind of accident could have happened? The powerhouses of the Ning family were all in a state of confusion. Not many of the images projected by the 12 demon eye stones showed the Han family. As for the assistant alchemist position, they could only vaguely see a blurry figure. As expected, I knew this ceremony would be different because of you. The immortal-like beauty in the secret room smiled. From the beginning to the end, her beautiful eyes only fell on the blurry figure in the corner. In the Han family's heavenly netherworld, many surprised cheers rose one after another. Brother Lin Chen has made his move. The energy of the elixir is still increasing. Our Han family hasn't lost yet. Lin Chen, go for it. Lin Chen, go for it. The entire Han family, regardless of gender or age, were all cheering. That kind of courage and momentum of a desperate counterattack made everyone in the Heavenly Song Academy surprised and speechless. Class Monitor is indeed the best. I knew he wouldn't let our Han family be defeated so easily. Han Yiji excitedly clenched her small white hands and joined the cheering army. Junior Lin Chen, you are indeed the most legendary man in the history of the Heavenly Song Academy. Lu Yingxian's eyes shone as she stared at the blurry figure in the demon eye stone. Chapter 268. So, this kid is the dark horse that was hiding the most. If he wants to reverse the situation, it's still unknown. His alchemy skills are definitely not inferior to Ning Lanfeng's, but what he lacks the most right now is time. That's right, the embryonic pill has at most half an hour left before it becomes a finished pill. All the alchemy prodigies stared in disbelief at Lin Shun, who was constantly pouring ingredients into the pill. Even someone as arrogant as them had to bow their heads in respect of his flawless alchemy skills. Where did this kid come from? The Han family is just a useless family struggling at death's door. How can they have someone who can threaten me? Ning Lanfeng narrowed his eyes, and the murderous intent in his eyes disappeared in a flash. However, when he considered that he would still be first place, he still felt a lot more relaxed. I'll let you fight then, a bunch of wild dogs. No matter how you fight, first place will still be mine. I will use this alchemy to prove to the saintess that I, Ning Lanfeng, am outstanding. Ning Lanfeng regained his usual arrogance and glanced at Lin Shan with a hint of mockery and disdain. Lin Shan's alchemy skills and perfect control of ingredients had reached a level of perfection. Even the alchemy grandmasters present had a whole new level of respect for him. However, the most important problem was still time. It was not easy to raise the quality of an advanced level 5 pill. It was not that the ceremony was about to end, but that Han Ziyun's embryonic pill would be completely formed soon. Once it became a finished pill, it would be a fact that could not be changed anymore. Most importantly, if the Han family wanted to surpass the Shao family and get third place, they had to make sure that the quality of their pill was higher than the Shao family's Blood Dragon pill. If it was also an advanced level 5 pill, then the outcome would still be uncertain. In other words, Lin Shan had at least raised the Golden Dragon cleansing pill to an advanced level 5 pill. His fingertips spun like a breeze, drawing a perfect arc in the air. Streams of pure energy shot towards the embryonic pill. Next, he used his spiritual power to control the 8th level Battle Chi Fire Seal, compressing the medicinal herb's energy in the furnace layer by layer, condensing the pure essence of the medicinal herbs into a colorful energy spirit liquid. The water-type Battle Chi revolved around the 5-colored liquid, and with the 8-layered fire seal as the core, it melted the liquid into a fist-sized energy coating. Lin Shan's hands merged water and fire. The two types of Battle Chi transformed into a special bloodline energy. His left hand was dominated by the 8 Desolation Mystical Fire Seal, while his right hand was dominated by the 3 Purity Spiritual Water Seal. 2 kinds of pill refining hand seals were actually displayed at high speed in Lin Shan's hands at the same time, as smooth as dancing on his fingertips. This was no longer an alchemy technique. It had already transformed into an art of alchemy. This move had once again shocked the black-robed old man and all the respected alchemy grandmasters who were in charge of this event. Simultaneously using 2 alchemy hand seals of completely different attributes. Moreover, they were perfectly interchangeable, as if they were one. This was a level that could only be achieved if one's control over the 2 alchemy hand seals were precise to an unimaginable level. Among all the alchemists present, there were only 3 people who were able to use 2 alchemy hand seals at the same time. Moreover, they could only use alchemy hand seals of the same Battle Chi attribute. These alchemy masters were all old monsters who had lived for thousands of years or even tens of thousands of years. Even though they were highly skilled in alchemy, none of them could perform alchemy hand seals of different attributes alternately. So accurate, perfectly displaying the attributes and advantages of the alchemy hand seals. He used the fire elemental alchemy hand seals to catalyze the herbs that needed to be catalyzed. Then, he used the water elemental alchemy hand seals to melt the herbs that needed water elemental energy. He's only 19 years old, right? That's impossible. Even if he started cultivating in his mother's womb, he wouldn't be able to do this. Not to mention 19 years old. Even if he were 190 years old or 1900 years old, his technique would be unrivaled in the spiritual state. Except for the people of the Dan family and the Mo family, as well as a few hidden alchemy masters, no one could shake this kid's alchemy technique. Some alchemy masters sighed at their own inferiority, but the Han family's third elder was ecstatic. Inviting Lin Chun to the ceremony was the best decision they had ever made. Han Ziyun stared at Lin Chun in a daze as he performed 2 alchemy hand seals alternately. Even the current elders of the Han family couldn't do this. Before the audience could finish their exclamations, something even more unbelievable happened. After condensing the 5-colored spiritual liquid into its purest form, Lin Chun kicked the bottom of his dark abyss furnace. Bam! The entire dark abyss furnace flew up more than 100 meters into the air. The ancient geniuses and veteran alchemists were dumbfounded. Kicking his own alchemy furnace into the air? What's going on? Could it be that at this critical juncture, he could still give up on himself? Lin Chun withdrew his water elemental and fire elemental battle auras. Then, green lightning surged around his body as he slammed his palms onto the ground. Boom! The earth-shattering explosion of thunder and lightning was like the wrath of the heavens. Wind and clouds surged in the void, and a bolt of lightning as thick as a dragon struck the dark abyss furnace floating in the void. Both of Lin Chen's hands danced in the air, his 8 fingers forming a ring. His palms faced each other, and another bolt of lightning struck down. Boom! The sound of thunder rumbled in all directions. The alchemy masters in the audience were completely dumbfounded. Lin Chun waved his hand, and another 2 water elemental beast cores were shot into the furnace. Lightning flashed, and more than 10 bolts of green lightning struck the furnace. What the hell is going on? Could it be that this brat wanted to destroy the energy within the pill furnace? This time, the speed at which Lin Chun formed the alchemy hand seals was extremely fast. It was at least 10 times faster than before when he used 2 alchemy hand seals at the same time. No, this is also a type of alchemy hand seal. Suddenly, the black-robed elder's eyes lit up, and he turned to look at the third elder of the Han family. The third elder was equally shocked. This unique technique and magnificent alchemy scene was also recorded in the Han family's records. It was the former lightning flash 1,000 seals. This alchemy hand seal was kept in the 3rd level of the Legacy Sutra Pavilion because of the harsh and difficult conditions to cultivate. As time passed, there was no one in the Han family who could cultivate this mysterious alchemy hand seal. It was even more difficult to cultivate than the blue rank alchemy hand seal. But who would have thought that today, this alchemy hand seal would actually be able to restore light to Lin Chen's body? How did little friend Lin Chun obtain the lightning flash 1,000 seals? The Elders' Council only allowed him to enter the first 2 levels of the Legacy Sutra Pavilion, but they didn't open the 3rd level. The 3rd Elder racked his brains, but still couldn't figure it out. But in the next moment, an even more terrifying scene appeared. Lin Chun used the lightning flash 1,000 seals in his left hand and the 3 clear spiritual water in his right hand to toss the last batch of ingredients into the furnace. He could actually use the lightning flash 1,000 seals as he wished. Didn't this mean that in the few days he spent in the Legacy Sutra Pavilion, he had already mastered the most difficult alchemy hand seal? Chapter 269. At this moment, there was only 15 minutes left until the end of the pill formation. The moment Lin Chun used the lightning flash 1,000 seals and the 3 pure spiritual water, all the experts of the ancient families who were watching the ceremony were shocked. The Bai family, Xiao family, Xie family, Ning family, etc., seemed to have seen the glorious era of the Han family. In that era, the Han family's alchemists were as famous as the Dan family and the Mo family. They were once the top 3 ancient families in the spiritual state, and no one could rival them. Bai family, in a tall tower that reached the clouds. In a hall in the tower, the experts of the Bai family were gathered. I didn't expect the Han family to use the lightning flash 1,000 seals. To think that they would appear in front of us in such a way. This kid is probably the hidden trump card of the Han family. To be able to use the lightning flash thousand seals and other alchemy hand seals at the same time, he would be at the peak of the younger generation in the Dan family and the Mo family. Could it be that the Han family really has the potential to rise again after 100,000 years? Not necessarily. The Han family doesn't even have a saint son or saintess, so how can they rise again? The war that wiped out the Han family was too mysterious, and we have no way to investigate it. Shao family, in an independent space, falling Cloud Valley. The images projected by the demon eye stone in the falling Cloud Valley caused the mental storms to let out hoarse voices. The lightning flash thousand seals was created by that rotten old man. It was just to pave the way for his 10,000 lightning hand. Since this kid can cultivate the lightning flash thousand seals, it means that he is qualified to inherit that old man's legacy. This alchemy hand seal is unconventional, and it can refine pills with high efficiency and speed. This kid will probably make it into the top 3. After this ceremony, the Han family will have a chance to pursue the holy flame baptism. Can a single spark really start a prairie fire? It's not that simple. Ning family, in a secret room. Saintess Qing Xian, do you know this auxiliary alchemist of the Han family? A few experts of the Ning family knelt on one knee and boldly asked the beautiful woman sitting at the head of the table. Of course I know him. Some of my family members have fought with him before. Don't you agree, Ning Zhan? A figure at the edge of the secret chamber suddenly trembled. It was Ning Zhan, the genius of the Ning clan, who fought with Lin Chun in the past. Gudon City, inside the Grand Ceremony Plaza. At this moment, Han Ziyun's pill condensation process had already entered the countdown. The pill condensation process could not be interrupted. Once the main alchemist stopped, everything would be lost. Right now, Lin Chun was racing against time. Many young geniuses held their breaths. The most nervous ones were the Shao clan and the Han clan. If the Han family managed to refine a Tier 5 lower-grade medicinal pill, then they would definitely be eliminated. Needless to say, the entire heavenly netherworld was filled with voices cheering for Lin Chun. The specialty of the lightning flash thousand seals was its extreme speed. Every time Lin Chun activated the alchemy hand seal, there would be a continuous stream of green lightning striking the dark abyss furnace. The power of each bolt of green lightning seemed to be incomparably violent, but in reality, it was just right. Its efficiency was at least 4 to 7 times faster than an ordinary alchemy hand seal. The lightning flash thousand seals was the main alchemy hand seal, and the 3 pure spiritual water was the support. The essence of the herbs was intertwined and combined together, and the efficiency was even higher. Boom! The dark abyss furnace was struck by the green lightning once again. The surging energy within the furnace spread out like angry waves, sweeping through the entire Grand Ceremony Plaza and even Gudon City. What? At this moment, the black-robed elder and 7 to 8 alchemy masters stood up at the same time. This wave of energy is powerful and vast. It's no small matter. I see. This kid's ambition is not small. His goal is not to be in the top 3, but first place. He wants to merge this energy into the embryonic pill and surpass Ning Lanfeng's pill in one fell swoop. No wonder. This old man was calculating with his fingers just now. Logically speaking, the lightning flash thousand seals should have been completed long ago. How could it take so long? So this brat's goal was to be number 1. The moment the energy poured out, the alchemy masters all sensed Lin Chen's intention. At this moment, everyone's expression was very interesting. Not top 3, but first place. Ning Lanfeng, who had always been arrogant and conceited, finally showed fear and shock at this moment. This kid, did he come for me from the beginning? Han Ziyun, who was maintaining the pill formation, suddenly felt her heart tighten. Her pretty face was flushed with surprise and astonishment. She remembered what Lin Chun said at the beginning. Today, you're the main character. Boom, boom. The green lightning struck. The dark abyss furnace could not withstand such a destructive refining process and exploded on the spot. Everyone's expression suddenly tensed up. Such a situation occurred at this juncture. They were afraid that all their efforts would be in vain. The fragments streaked across like meteors, and the dazzling lightning exploded and scattered like a rain of flowers, beautiful and magnificent. However, at this moment, no one was appreciating this unique beauty. Everyone's attention was on the center of the explosion. The smoke did not disperse, but there was no movement for a long time. Could it really be blown up? When Ning Lanfeng saw this, he could not help but laugh wildly. Ha ha! Kid, this is what happens when you overestimate yourself and challenge me. Before he could finish, Ning Lanfeng's wild laughter came to an abrupt end. A faint blue light rose like a crescent moon and slowly floated down from the void. This was a faint blue rose with lightning dancing around it. Pure water energy enveloped the turbulent pure energy inside. As the lightning swirled around it, the faint blue rose was like the most beautiful artwork in the world. The energy inside the pill furnace was not blown up. At the most critical moment, it was protected by Lin Shun, and it had just been refined. The faint blue energy rose was like a dancing fairy, falling into Lin Shen's palm. Suddenly, an alchemy master exclaimed, "Oh no, the pill formation is about to be completed. There are only a few breaths left." Everyone looked around and saw that pill clouds were beginning to condense around them. Han Ziyun's embryonic pill was about to transform into a finished pill. At this critical moment that affected the hearts of thousands of people, Lin Shun was extremely calm. He gently kissed the faint blue rose and chuckled. "Go!" Lin Shun leisurely threw the faint blue rose out. The blue energy rose drew a perfect arc as it spun leisurely in the void. The moment he threw the faint blue rose out, Lin Shun put his hands in his pockets, his silver robe fluttering, and leisurely turned around to leave, not even looking at it. Lin Shun turned around and took a second step. In a last breath before the embryonic pill was formed, the faint blue rose melted into the embryonic pill like snow. A faint blue divine light suddenly shone from behind Lin Shun. The divine light shot straight to the 9 heavens, absorbing the spiritual energy from all directions into the pill clouds. At this moment, everyone suddenly stood up. The light was dazzling and dazzling. The surging pill clouds constantly emitted multicolored rays of light. The pill clouds condensed, intertwining, and overlapping. Everyone looked carefully and saw that there were as many as 9 layers of pill clouds. 9 layers of pill clouds. The black-robed elder revealed a shocked expression for the first time as he muttered to himself. 9 layers of pill clouds. It's a peak grade 5th tier pill. The pill clouds reflected endless colors, sprinkling on the purple-robed beauty's body, as if she was wearing the moon and the stars, so beautiful that it was suffocating. The beauty looked around in panic, but the youth who was the assistant alchemist had long disappeared. A real man never turned back to look at an explosion, using the craziest method to refine the most awesome pill, using the most flashy method to end the most handsome scene. Chapter 270. The 9 layers of pill clouds were continuous and colorful. Each layer was more than 10,000 feet wide and covered the sky with a majestic and domineering aura. The sky above Gudan City was illuminated by the dense pill clouds. The nebula was like a miracle, immortal and indestructible, carrying endless brilliance. Under the illumination of the 9 layers of pill clouds, the 3 layers of pill clouds Ning Lanfeng and the 2 layers of pill clouds Bloodvast were all trash. The two were not on the same level at all. A top-notch tier, 5 pill, and above that was tier 6. A tier 6 pill had a fatal attraction to even Yuan venerate powerhouses. 9 layers of pill clouds, there's no doubt about it. This is a top-notch tier, 5 pill. I didn't expect us to have underestimated his ambition. His goal is far from being number one. The three alchemy grandmasters who had noticed Lin Shun from the beginning shook their heads in amazement. The Han family has really turned the tables, and they are number one. They will be able to compete for 2 spots for the Sacred Flame baptism. I didn't expect the Han family to be the main star of this ceremony. Everyone else has become the Han family's foil. To be able to refine a tier 5 pill, that young man's alchemy skills are probably in the top 10 of the younger generation of the Dan family and Mo family, right? I'm afraid it's not just that. You have to know that that young man is standing in the position of an assistant alchemist. He's an existence that can refine pills on the spot. Hey, speaking of which, where is he? Where did he run off to? At this moment, everyone realized that the Han family's assistant alchemist had already left the venue, leaving only the eye-catching main alchemist. Congratulations, Han family elder. Your Han family has a monstrous junior this time. Who knows, he might be able to bring your alchemy foundation back to its glory. At this moment, many veteran alchemy grandmasters congratulated him, their eyes filled with envy. The third elder cupped his fists and smiled respectfully, but the shock in his heart was no less than the rest. Regardless of whether it was Lin Shen's proficiency in the lightning flash thousand seals or his alchemy skills, they had far exceeded the Han family's expectations. By family, in the hall of the ancient pagoda, I didn't even get a clear look at his face. Who the hell is he? I don't think this brat is from the Han clan, because there is no restriction on whether the auxiliary alchemist is from the main family of the ancient families participating in the ceremony. As long as the main alchemist is from the main family, it's fine. Send out a messenger as soon as possible. We need to find this kid as soon as possible and recruit him into the Bai clan. Among the figures in the hall, 2 figures trembled slightly, and the space distorted, and they disappeared. In the Shao clan's independent space, the Valley of Falling Clouds. Within the spiritual storms, a buzzing spiritual communication was transmitted, shaking the universe. According to the spies we sent to the Han family, we haven't received any information about this kid in the past 10 years. I don't believe that this kid is the trump card of the Han family. We must investigate this thoroughly. 10 days. We must gather all the information about this child's true identity within 10 days. Han family, Heavenly Netherworld. We won. We won. First place. We actually got first place. Big Brother Lin Chun is really amazing. After 1,000 years, our Han family has another chance to chase after the sacred flame. The entire Han family was in a state of celebration and screams. The admiration the 4 blue merit level prodigies of the Heavenly Song Academy had for Lin Chun was indescribable. Lin Chen's alchemy skills were enough to rank him in the top 5 of the Heavenly Song Academy. Gudon City, Grand Ceremony Square. No, I don't accept this. He must have cheated. He's just an auxiliary alchemist. What ability does he have to raise the level of a pill to the peak of the 5th stage? Ning Lanfeng suddenly roared, his eyes fixed on the black-robed elder who was hosting the ceremony. Shuihao was also like a wild beast. His eyes were bloodshot as he stared at Han Ziyun, as if they were going to explode. Little brat, are you questioning this old man's ability and fairness? The black-robed elder floated in the air. His old eyes were filled with killing intent. Bang! Ning Lanfeng's body shook. His knees went soft, and he knelt down on the spot. This black-robed elder. He used his killing intent to subdue Ning Lanfeng. Eldering. Lanfeng is still young. Please don't take offense. 2 elders of the Ning family immediately flashed to Ning Lanfeng's side and bowed apologetically. All right, Eldering. Don't be so quick to get angry. That young man's strength is too horrifying. It's normal for people to question him. At this moment, the white-browed elder of the 3 alchemy grandmasters stroked his beard and laughed. Ha! Let's old fellows explain. The other green-robed elder also shook his head and laughed. The young prodigies all looked at them curiously. It's Senior Qing Su. He's the famous alchemy grandmaster from the spiritual state thousands of years ago. And Senior Bai Yun. It said that he had already made a level 6 mid-grade pill 500 years ago. Hiss. And the last one, is he the creator of the Heaven Guide Alchemy Manual, Seniorly Xiangyin? The alchemy prodigies recognize the identities of the three alchemy grandmasters and exclaim from time to time, "Ha! I didn't expect so many young people to recognize us old guys after so many years." The white-browed elder and senior by Yun laughed, and then pointed at the square not far away. That position was where Lin Shun had been as an assistant alchemist. Beside the platform, in addition to the broken pill furnace fragments, there was also a pile of discarded medicine dregs. Everyone was stunned when they saw the pile of dregs. With that young man's alchemy skills and his control of herbs, it's impossible for him to leave behind so much dregs. The reason is simple. When he was assisting the Han family girl, he was also modifying the pill recipe and assisting in the alchemy at the same time. Moreover, he modified the pill recipe and used a method that even the main alchemist didn't notice to change the grade of the finished pill. Bai Yun's words caused the young prodigies to be shocked like never before. Assisting in alchemy and modifying a level 5 pill recipe at the same time? Was this really something a human could do? So, the result of this alchemy was neither a coincidence nor a cheat. It was the result of this young man's plan. Senior Qing Su sighed, while Li Xiangyin gazed into the distance and let out a long sigh. This kid's talent in alchemy is beyond common sense. Perhaps in a few years, our spiritual state will have an unprecedented alchemist. After hearing the three alchemy grandmasters' evaluation of this assistant alchemist, everyone couldn't calm down for a long time. No one expected that this grand ceremony would end with the Han family winning first place. Inside the Ning family's secret space chamber, even Ning Lanfeng is no match for him. Who the hell is this kid? Ning Zhan, I heard that you fought with this kid. Tell us in detail what kind of person he is. The powerhouses of the Ning family all turned their gazes to Ning Zhan. He stood at the edge of the secret room, silent and fearful. Ning Qingxian, who was standing at the head of the secret space chamber, smiled elegantly. There's no need to ask. His legend has just begun. Within 10 years, his legend will spread throughout the spiritual state. Chapter 271. For hours after the ceremony ended, in the Thousand Desolation mountain range of the spirit state, high above the mountain range, an azure dragon flew past rapidly, stirring up a gust of wind. Let's just return to the academy. I stole the Han family's alchemy handprint this time. Wouldn't it be a huge loss if they asked me for it back? Lin Shun sat on the back of the ancient azure dragon, biting a wood spirit banana and rubbing his chin as he pondered. But I helped them get first place, so they won't blame me, right? Although I've collected all their alchemy experience and handwritten notes from the second level. Just as Lin Shun was in a dilemma, his eyes suddenly focused. 3 hair-raising saber cheese that were as resplendent as the Milky Way slashed through the sky. Azure Dragon return. The ancient Azure Dragon instantly returned to Lin Chen's body. His purple phoenix wings spread out at lightning speed, transforming his wind elemental bloodline energy. He suddenly stepped into the void, instantly covering a distance of 100,000 meters. The saber energies were like dragons, brushing past Lin Shun and sweeping towards the distant horizon. Damn, what a terrifying saber energy. Fortunately, it's not aimed at me, or else I would be chopped into ashes on the spot. Lin Shun, who dodged, secretly broke out in cold sweat. These 3 saber energies were several levels stronger than a Heaven Star Border Stage 7. The owner's cultivation was probably above Heaven Star Border Stage 8. Old Yao, surround that bitch. She's already seriously injured, and we've chased her for thousands of miles. If this drags on, we'll be able to capture her and hand her over to the sect master. The cold shout was like thunder echoing in the sky of the Thousand Desolation mountain range. For figures who were constantly performing spatial jumps flashed one after another. Lin Shen immediately held the Dark Abyss spear and retreated to the side, ready for battle. With a thought, Lin Shun activated the myriad fire web spell to the extreme, covering his entire body. Then, he used his late-stage spirit transformation realm spiritual energy to cover his aura and hid in a basin valley. 4 figures streaked across the sky at extreme speed, whistling with ear-piercing sonic booms. The leading figure in white was graceful like a fairy, but her aura was weak at this moment. The 3 blood-red figures behind her were like blood-red flowing lights, constantly following behind her. Rumble! The 3 of them suddenly sped up and surrounded the white-clothed woman in a triangular formation. Each of them occupied a side, and their auras were so powerful that it intimidated the ferocious beasts in the Thousand Desolation mountain range to the point of trembling. A Heavenly Dipper Realm 9th layer early stage and 2 8th layer late stage. And that woman in white. I'm afraid her cultivation base has reached the late stage of Heaven Dipper Realm. What a terrifying lineup. What's going on? Lin Shan felt a chill run down his spine. An expert of this level would be an extremely powerful elder in a first-rate force. It's better not to show your face at this time. Otherwise, you'll be hammered into a cripple. What is that? Lin Shun sucked in a breath of cold air when he saw the true appearance of the white-clothed woman. That woman was actually Bai Ruoyan. Why is it Sister Ruoyan? Damn it, this time, even if I don't want to, Brother Chun has to go. Bai Ruoyan was loyal and affectionate towards Lin Shun. Previously, she had also taken great care of him in the mystic realm. Lin Shun could not leave her in the lurch. Azure Dragon Shadow. With a change of hand seals and a thought, Lin Shun executed this newly learned divine ability of the dragon race for the first time. He released the ancient Azure Dragon after shrinking its size. The ancient Azure Dragon, which had turned into 100 feet long, coiled in the void. Other than Lin Shun, who could sense its existence, it was as though it was transparent. At this moment, when the Azure Dragon was flying around, it didn't even cause ripples in the void, let alone startling the 3 experts. I'm afraid I'll have to take out all 3 transformations of the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation. Just as he was planning in his heart, Lin Shun heard the conversation between the 4 of them and couldn't help but perk up his ears to eavesdrop. The 2 of you better be careful. This demonic woman is an expert who could injure the sect master and kill the vice sect master. She has some mystical means. It's best if you can capture her alive. If you can't, then kill her on the spot. The leading man in blood-red clothes said coldly. As a Heaven Dipper Realm 9th layer expert, he was still extremely cautious towards the severely injured and weak Bai Ruoyan. Fresh blood dyed her white dress red. The beautiful woman's red lips were stained with blood, making her look poignant and cold. Her beautiful eyes were originally flickering with an unyielding fighting spirit, but suddenly they flashed with a strong sense of hope and vitality. Bai Ruoyan secretly glanced at the bottom of the mountain range from the corner of her eyes. After being chased for so many days, Bai Ruoyan revealed a beautiful smile for the first time as she said with a smile, "Don't you think it's unfair for the 3 of you to deal with me alone? Well, I fought with your sect master. It was a one-on-one duel." The leading man in blood-red clothes had a trace of doubt in his eyes. He then sneered and said, "You sneak-attacked our sect master, and you still have the face to talk about a duel?" Hearing this, Bai Ruoyan covered her cherry lips with her slender hand and smiled sweetly. "Then how about another sneak attack?" Bai Ruoyan's smile confused the 3 of them. The leading man in blood-red clothes ignored her, and the 3 of them waved the blood sabers in their hands together. "Little brother Lin Chun, now is the time," Bai Ruoyan suddenly shouted coldly. The face of a late Heaven Dipper Realm 8th layer man in blood-red clothes behind Bai Ruoyan suddenly changed. "Slow down, rune." The grayish-white rune could intimidate ghosts and gods, and the universe changed. In an instant, it suppressed more than half of the blood-red clothes man's cultivation. The moment the slow-down rune appeared, a 1,000 feet long azure dragon appeared above his head like a ghost. It was like an ancient giant descending from the sky. Azure Dragon, Soul, Rending Claw. As the Azure Dragon waved its dragon claws, the azure dragon's breath slashed out like flying blades. It had a monstrous aura that could swallow everything. The attacks were launched at almost the same time. Lin Shun held the Dark Abyss spear in his hand and released endless battle chi to transform his bloodline energy. In an instant, it ignited and exploded. Azura 9 Brilliance Transformation, Heavenly Water Transformation, Thunder Punishment Transformation, Dark Abyss Transformation, Heaven Dipper Realm 4th Layer, 5th Layer, 6th Layer. Lin Shen's battle chi cultivation broke through the mid-stage of Heaven Dipper Realm 6th Layer in a flash. Recharge Rune, Desolation of the 8 Desolates. The Dark Abyss swept across the sky like lightning. Lin Shen stabbed out with his spear. The Azure Lightning Dragon swept across the universe and penetrated the blood-red clothes man who was in the late stage of Heaven Dipper Realm 8th Layer. Although the battle chi defense he used in an instant blocked the Azure Dragon's soul-rending claw, it couldn't block Lin Shen's Desolates of the 8 Desolates. Before he died, he didn't even know how he died. Half of his cultivation was suddenly sealed. In just a thousandth of a breath, a silver-robed young man appeared before him. How can a Heaven Dipper Realm 6th Layer use such a terrifying attack? Before the blood-red clothes man could finish his words, he was crushed by the lightning dragon and exploded into balls of attribute light in the sky. Not even his bones were left. Divine Nether Palm. Bairoyan pushed her palms horizontally and sent out 2 consecutive palm strikes, shattering the shocking saber chi of the other 2 on the spot. Bairoyan, who had used too much battle chi, spat out a mouthful of blood. She retreated continuously like a kite with a broken string. Lin Shun, who was standing behind her, turned around and quickly hugged her. The 2 of them hadn't seen each other for a long time. They didn't say a word when they met, but when they looked at each other, they understood each other's thoughts. Chapter 272. The ancient Azure Dragon's body suddenly rolled up and collected all the attribute light balls. Then entered Lin Chen's body. Lin Chen's body emitted the sound of breaking through the shackles. His aura soared to the peak of Heaven Dipper Realm Level 6. Congratulations to the host for advancing to Heaven Dipper Realm Level 4. The system screen popped up. Lin Shen's attention was fully focused on the remaining 2 experts. Old Yao was killed. When did this kid appear? Where did he come from? The leader of the Heaven Dipper Realm Level 9 was momentarily stunned and shocked. Old Yao's strength, even if he encountered a Heaven Dipper Realm Level 9 early stage, or even a Heaven Dipper Realm Level 9 middle stage, he could still hold on for a short period of time. It was not so easy to be killed in a face-to-face encounter. A Heaven Dipper Realm Level 6 brat actually used only 2 moves to kill him. Slow Rune. Lin Shun slapped out again, and the rune energy decreased by another 5 million points. The slow rune that fell from the sky sealed half of the battle chi and movement of the 2. Lin Shen's rune energy decreased rapidly. Charging rune, Frozen Sky Finger. A finger froze 1,000 miles, and an aurora ice beam like a frozen star pierced through the sky. The moment Lin Shun pointed out the Frozen Sky Finger, he carried the severely injured and unconscious Bairoyan and quickly retreated. The slow rune and Frozen Sky Finger caused the entire space to become slow and cold, almost completely frozen. The wind bloodline burned to the extreme, coupled with the power of the purple phoenix wings. Lin Shen's figure was like an aurora across the sky. In an instant, he moved hundreds of miles away. Little brother Lin Shun, Byron in his arms, was about to speak, but Lin Shun said with a serious face, "Don't speak. Your meridians have been severely damaged. Maintain the balance of your aura. If any accident happens, your life will be in danger at any time." Previously, Bairoyan, at the critical moment, in order to cooperate with Lin Shun to sneak attack the Heaven Dipper Realm Level 8 expert, forcibly withstanding the full force of the 2. Right now, she was already an arrow at the end of its flight. Any further action would endanger her life at any time. Bai Ruoyan's green eyes blurred as the young man tightly embraced her slender waist. It was as if all the pain in her body had disappeared, leaving only the young man's childish face in her eyes. For so many years, he had been cold and arrogant. He had roamed the 9 prefectures alone and had never relied on anyone. When she sensed the star jade on that young man's body and knew that he was in that mountain range, she seemed to have found a trace of support and surprisingly calmed down. After so many years, it seemed that this was the first time he had relied on someone like this. Moreover, it was a young man who was countless generations younger than him. Bai Ruoyan's beautiful face was suffused with a faint red glow. She wanted to caress the young man's determined face, but the injury to her meridians caused her eyebrows to tremble slightly. She fainted in Lin Chen's arms. With the beauty in his arms, Lin Chen didn't have the time to care too much. His mind was tense, as he didn't think that his delaying rune and freezing sky finger would be able to delay his opponent for long. The purple phoenix wings cut through the rolling purple flames and swept past, leaving behind only the distorted space cracks in the horizon. Hugging Bai Ruoyan, Lin Chen's entire body turned into a purple-green light and swept across the horizon. The distorted and vibrating space shook like thunder that pierced through the void, resounding through the horizon. In less than a dozen breaths of time, Lin Chen had already charged out of the Thousand Desolation mountain range. The deafening roar attracted the attention of many experts from the small sects, who raised their heads in shock. After carefully observing, they hurriedly lowered their heads, not daring to take another look. Swish, swish, swish. The sound of a sonic boom faintly came from behind. Lin Chen had already sensed that the 2 people behind him were relentlessly pursuing him. His brows were tightly knitted. Mother of Asterisk, these 2 stubborn bastards. Hardening his heart, Lin Chen fiercely clenched his teeth and activated the purple phoenix wings. Chi! The purple flames of the purple phoenix wings burned even more fiercely and turned into 2 300-meter-long purple phoenix wings. His speed increased again. At this moment, the energy of the purple phoenix wings was completely released by Lin Chen. Furthermore, his chi and blood energy would be greatly consumed by the expansion of the purple phoenix wings. Even after using the 3rd transformation power of the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation, Lin Chen still didn't inflate himself to fight 1 against 2. A Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 9 was no small matter. In addition, there was another late-stage Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8. There was only 1 chance for a sneak attack, and it couldn't be replicated a second time. Lin Chen's rune energy previously had more than 30 million points, but to fight against a Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 9 and a late-stage Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8, it still paled in comparison. Most importantly, Lin Chen still had to protect the heavily injured Bai Ruoyan. It was impossible to protect Bai Ruoyan with just the ancient Azure Dragon alone. Therefore, there was only one outcome for Lin Chen: escape. As long as he could get close to the Han clan's Heaven Netherworld region, everything would no longer be a problem. Damn it! How can this brat fly so fast? That pair of wings of his isn't an ordinary pair of wings. It's the phoenix wings of some ancient species. Let's end this quickly. We can't let this brat escape. That brat was able to kill old Yao in an instant. Perhaps he has an important fortuitous encounter. Capture him and interrogate him. The 2 of them suddenly increased their speed and chased relentlessly. The spirit receiving ring shone brightly. Lin Chen stuffed 4 high-grade elixirs into his mouth like his life depended on it. Under the premise of constantly maintaining the highest speed of the purple phoenix wings, he also circulated his wind attribute blood meridians to increase his speed. His entire body was flowing with green light wind blades, pushing Lin Chen forward. The true water origin scripture was constantly circulating to ensure that Lin Chen's injuries wouldn't be too severe and cause him to faint. The feathers of the purple phoenix wings gradually fell off like shooting stars across the night sky. They scattered in the void and flowed with faint purple blood. Lin Chen had never used the purple phoenix wings so excessively before. If he continued to maintain this speed, his purple phoenix wings would only be destroyed. on the line between life and death. Lin Chen couldn't care so much anymore. Since you guys want to chase, I'll grant you your wish. His eyes flashed with an ominous glint. Lin Chen's palm flashed with a shocking cold air. His entire arm was channeled to the water attribute blood meridians. Charging rune, frozen sky, finger. A beam of cold light emitted from the ice stars and shot towards the two people who were chasing Lin Chen. Still want to use the same trick? Not so easy. The two of them had a tacit understanding. The Heaven Dipper realm stage, 8-man in blood-red robes, pushed his palms forward. His battle saber pierced straight out, turning into a rainbow light that shot out explosively, meeting Lin Chen's frozen sky, finger head-on. The Heaven Dipper realm stage, 9-man in blood-red robes, suddenly trembled. Like a shadow, he moved from 500 miles away from Lin Chen to 100 miles away in 2 breaths' time. Lin Chen's pupils trembled slightly. He suddenly tightened his grip on the abyss spear that appeared in a flash. The rune energy was mobilized, and he was prepared to fight to the death again. Thunder roar was like 10,000 thunderbolts, shaking the heaven and earth. Where did this rascal come from? How dare you touch my Han clan's benefactor? I think you guys are courting death. Chapter 273. 2 red-robed old men appeared in the air, standing proudly between the 3 peaks. Their eyes widened as they grabbed the void with one hand. The space was distorted like a mess of paste, and the Heavenly Dipper Realm 9th layer was squeezed to pieces on the spot and exploded into powder and blood. Yuan venerate realm powerhouses? The remaining Heaven Dipper Realm Level 8 cultivators face changed. Blood chi wrapped around his body as if he had activated some secret technique. His figure flashed and disappeared into the void. Do you think you can leave after touching our Han family's benefactor? The other red-robed old man's lips curled into a disdainful smile. He took a step forward and the space around him collapsed. His figure disappeared into the horizon. Lin En, are you all right? The remaining red-robed old man quickly supported Lin Chen. I'm fine. Give me the best secret chamber. I want to heal her first. Lin Chen's eyes were red and his face was pale. After removing the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation, he ignored the weakness in his body and hugged Bai Ruoyan tightly. Okay, no problem. The red-robed old man nodded and waved his sleeve to remove the spatial boundary. He then led Lin Chen into the heaven netherworld. When the red-robed old man glanced at Bai Ruoyan in Lin Chen's arms, his expression changed. This woman, is she the one from the Bai family 1,000 years ago? However, Lin Chen, who was focused on Bai Ruoyan, did not notice the change in the red-robed old man. Lin Chen is so nervous about this woman. Their relationship must be extraordinary. He also saved our Han family. Even at the risk of offending the Bai family, I have to take her in. The red-robed old man sensed Bai Ruoyan's importance to Lin Chen. He immediately made up his mind and brought Lin Chen to the Han family's secret chamber. Heaven Netherworld, inside the secret chamber. Only Lin Chen and Bai Ruoyan were left in the secret chamber. Bai Ruoyan's beautiful and exquisite body was lying in the secret room. Her white dress was stained with blood, making her appear enchanting and poignant. Lin Chen swallowed another 1,000 recovery purplish gold pill to heal his injuries. He didn't care about anything else and reached out to hold Bai Ruoyan's soft hand. He earnestly extended his water-type battle chi into Bai Ruoyan's delicate body. In less than 3 breaths, he understood the condition of Bai Ruoyan's injuries. Nearly 70% of my meridians have been damaged, and my internal organs have suffered severe internal injuries. Fortunately, my dantian and heart were not damaged. As long as I treat them in time and nurse them back to health, there shouldn't be any major problems. After carefully putting down Bai Ruoyan, Lin Chen sat cross-legged to the side. With a casual wave of his hand, he took out a tier 4 pill furnace from his spirit storage ring. Casually grabbing a few level 4 herbs and level 5 spirit treasures, he threw them into the pill furnace. Lin Chen's hand seals changed like lightning, and the refining speed of the lightning flash thousand seals was practically in the blink of an eye. A dark green pill came out of the furnace. Its grade was not high, but its medicinal power was very gentle and light. His fingertips moved the beautiful woman's beautiful lips and let her consume the dark green pill. Then, he continued refining. The 3 clear spiritual water seal and the lightning flash thousand seals were used together. This time, Lin Chen refined a bottle of light, red spirit liquid. Fortunately, I dug up some herbs from the Han clan's mountain ranges. Otherwise, if I let the Han clan prepare the herbs now, I might have missed the best time to treat her. Secretly rejoicing in his heart, Lin Chen supported by Ruoyan with one hand and slowly fed her the red spirit liquid. After an unknown amount of time, Lin Chen fiddled with another barrel of purple medicinal liquid. After taking a deep breath, he took off by Ruoyan's clothes. Because of a knife wound on her delicate shoulder, the beautiful woman unconsciously let out a painful moan. "Younger brother, Lin Chen, is that you?" At this moment, Bai Ruoyan's eyebrows trembled slightly. She actually slowly opened her beautiful eyes, which were in a daze. Lin Chen immediately felt a little awkward. Of all the times to wake up, she just had to wake up when he was taking off her clothes. "Sister," Lin Chen wanted to say something, but the beautiful woman's jade-like hand lightly pressed against his lips. "Fool, do you think I don't know your character? If you need to treat your injuries, then undo it." Bai Ruoyan smiled faintly. That pale face still couldn't hide the beauty of a beauty that could cause the downfall of a city. She was as beautiful as a fairy. "Sister Ruoyan, I'm sorry to offend you." Lin Chen closed his eyes and somewhat clumsily undid the beautiful woman's clothes. Immediately after, he hugged her soft and perfect body with both hands and gently soaked Bai Ruoyan in the medicinal tub. The purple spirit liquid seemed to have found its backbone and was slowly absorbed into Bai Ruoyan's delicate body. When he sensed that Bai Ruoyan's injuries were starting to stabilize and recover, Lin Chen let out a sigh of relief. His tense nerves instantly relaxed. Then, as if his mind was hit by a heavy sense of fatigue, he directly fainted. Lin Chen didn't know how long he was unconscious for. When he woke up again, he was already sleeping on a soft bed. He didn't know who had healed 80 to 90% of the injuries in his body. When Lin Chen woke up, the silver-haired woman was staring at him worriedly. "Class monitor is awake?" "Class monitor, I was so scared that something happened to you. When I heard the elder say that you were being chased by a 9th stage Heaven Dipper realm martial artist, I was scared to death. I thought that you wouldn't wake up." The woman hugged Lin Chen. Her voice was filled with tears, and she cried like a pear blossom in the rain. Lin Chen scratched his head and hugged Han Yiji, patting her shoulder and comforting her. "Hee, how could anything happen to your class monitor? I'm so handsome. Even the heavens wouldn't be willing to let me die." Han Yiji's faint daffodil fragrance made Lin Chen a little restless. It was rare for him to blush. He didn't know why, but Han Yiji always had an indescribable charm that made his heart beat faster. I didn't expect little brother Lin Chen to have such a hobby. At this moment, Bai Ruoyan pushed open the room door with a smile and looked at the 2 people on the bed. Han Yiji was so shocked that she let go of her hand. Her face was slightly red. Just as she was about to explain, Bai Ruoyan winked at Han Yiji, indicating that there was no need to say anything. "Sister Ruoyan, what happened to you that made a 9th stage Heaven Dipper realm martial artist chase after you at all costs?" Lin Chen didn't care about how many days he had been unconscious and asked Bai Ruoyan. "After we parted, I went into seclusion to cultivate for a period of time. I used the Heaven Essence fruit to recover my cultivation to the early stage of the 9th stage Heaven Dipper realm. Then, when I arrived at the spirit state, I encountered one of my enemy's subordinates." Bai Ruoyan's expression showed a rare hint of struggle and anger. She gritted her teeth. "I couldn't suppress the anger in my heart. Just now, I ambushed and attacked. I thought I could kill them and then escape unscathed. However, I didn't expect their foundation to be so much stronger than before. I only managed to kill one of them and was seriously injured by them. I could only escape in a sorry state. Fortunately, I sense the star jade that was left on your body at the mountain range. Otherwise, I'm afraid this time it bodes ill rather than well." Hearing this, Lin Shun frowned slightly as he solemnly stared at Byron. "Sister Ruoyan, I think you should have told me about yourself. With my current strength, I believe I won't be a burden to you anymore." Chapter 274. Lin Chen's gaze was incomparably sincere. Lyra Oyan was stunned. After taking a deep breath, her expression returned to its usual indifference. "All right, I'll tell you then. You've grown so much in just half a year and can even fight late-stage Heaven Dipper sovereigns. Even if you know about me, it won't cause any trouble for you. 2 Yuan venerate elders, please come out. There's no need to wait outside." Suddenly, Byra Oyan smiled faintly. The 2 red-robed elders outside the room appeared like phantoms. One of them stroked his beard and smiled. "Miss, please don't take offense. I didn't mean to eavesdrop. I was just worried about Lin Chen's injuries." Byra Oyan smiled sweetly. "It's fine. I owe the 2 elders a great debt of gratitude. You saved Brother Lin Chen and me at a critical moment, so I ought to repay you. Furthermore, as a descendant of an ancient family, the 2 of you took a huge risk to take me in. I'll remember this favor." Seeing Byra Oyan's serious tone, the other red-robed elder hurriedly said, "Miss Bai, you're too polite. You have a good relationship with Lin Shun, and our Han family owes him a debt of gratitude. We naturally wouldn't leave him in the lurch." Byra Oyan glanced at Lin Shun in surprise. How much had her little brother Lin Chun grown to become the Han family's benefactor? "Took a huge risk? Sister Oyan, what do you mean?" Lin Chen asked anxiously. The more he listened, the more he felt that something was amiss. "Little brother Lin Chen, you already know about the ancient families. Then, have you ever heard of the Bai family of the ancient families? I was once a member of the Bai family and was known as the greatest trader in the history of the Bai family." Byra Oyan's expression was very complicated when she talked about this. There was anger, unwillingness, and helplessness. "Back then, I peeked at the Bai family's secret records and discovered the transactions and crimes committed by the Bai family. I was severely punished by the elders. At the last moment of the execution, they didn't expect that I had an important treasure with me, so I forced my way out of the punishment space. However, I was hit by the Grand Elder of the Bai family, who was at the Battle Emperor realm. Then, the Bai family sent out many masters to hunt me down. I used up all my strength to break out of the encirclement, but I was poisoned and ended up in the 24 domains outside the spiritual state. Later, I bought the position of the city lord of a city in the wasteland domain. At the cost of my cultivation base, I suppressed my injuries and the corrosive poison. For 100 years, I searched for many fortune tellers and alchemists, but to no avail. Finally, I met you, Brother Lin Shun, and everything changed." After Byra Oyan explained the cause and effect, Lin Shun came to a sudden realization. The 2 red-robed old men beside him said thoughtfully, "When did I, Lin Shun, need to rely on other people's strength? Sister Ruoyan, have you forgotten what we did when we first met?" Lin Shun winked at her. Byra Oyan was startled, and then she said with an ecstatic expression, "You mean you want to help me get rid of the last bit of poison and let me recover a portion of my cultivation, and then we will go and exterminate them? My smart sister Ruoyan is finally back." Lin Shun sighed, and Byra Oyan rolled her eyes at him. "Class Rep Lin Shun, could it be?" Han Iji pulled the corner of Lin Chen's clothes and said worriedly. Lin Chen rubbed Han Iji's silver hair and said with a smile, "Don't worry, nothing will happen." A red-robed elder suddenly said with a smile, "Since you want to take revenge, then I believe this person will be of some help to you." He made a grabbing motion in the air, and a silvery white spatial force flashed by, binding a figure in the room. The blood-robed man had a pale face, but his whole body was restrained by the 2 elders' spatial restraint, and he couldn't move. This man was one of the 3 people who chased after by Rowan, the last surviving late-stage Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8. This person is also a ruthless character. The first thing he wanted to do after being caught was to self-detonate, but we stopped him. The red-robed elder shook his head and laughed. Byroyan frowned and shook her head slightly. It's useless. They are a professional assassin organization. Once they are caught, as long as there is a chance, they will immediately commit suicide, not leaving behind any useful information. However, Lin Chen's eyes lit up, and he rubbed his hands as he walked towards the man, laughing. Who said it's useless? This daddy is looking forward to a few more. Chapter 275. Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8. The quality of the attribute light balls dropped was so high that it allowed Lin Chun to break through to Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 4 on the spot. Seeing Lin Chun approaching with a smirk, the blood-red robed man glared angrily, but was unable to break free from the spatial restraints. Since you want to die so much, I'll send you on your way. Lin Chun flipped his palm and slapped the assassin's skull. The sound of bones cracking could be heard. The blood-red robed man rolled his eyes and looked at Lin Chun before he died. There was still a sense of relief in his eyes before he slowly closed them. After his death, the blood-red robed man dropped a large number of attribute light balls floating in the air. Roar! Suddenly, a dragon's roar could be heard and an evil green light flashed. An ancient green dragon that was dozens of feet long emerged from Lin Chen's body. This is an ancient green dragon? Lin Chen actually carries such an ancient green dragon with him? The two red-robed elders were slightly surprised. Even with their cultivation, they couldn't sense the existence of the ancient green dragon. The shrunken ancient green dragon opened its mouth and swallowed the corpse of the Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8 cultivator. Lin Chen's pupils constricted. He didn't order the ancient green dragon to eat the corpse. It was its consciousness that came out and swallowed him. What's going on? Is the ancient green dragon out of my control? After taking a closer look, Lin Chen noticed something wrong. The ancient green dragon's scales were green, its claws were ferocious, its teeth were dark red, and its eyes were like a blood moon. Compared to the primordial azure dragon, which had a murderous dragon aura, this one was even more ruthless and evil. The power of the ancient green dragon started to increase after eating the corpse. No, it's not that it's out of my control. It's that the ancient green dragon is starting to transform into a demonic dragon. Its body is starting to thirst for energy. When Lin Chan focused on the origin of the ancient green dragon in his dantian, he noticed the problem. The origin of the ancient green dragon was constantly emitting a thirst for energy. It was like a starving person constantly craving for food and water. The ancient green dragon's senses came from Lin Chen's consciousness. Lin Chen wasn't wary of the surroundings, so he wasn't a threat to the ancient green dragon. The ancient green dragon's instinct drove it to appear and swallow the corpse. Lin Chen's ancient green dragon bloodline had increased twice because of the evil dragon and demonic dragon. This caused the ancient green dragon's evolution and growth to become closer to the demonic dragon race. After swallowing the corpse, the ancient green dragon's pure strength increased exponentially and broke through the 430 dragon power mark. It was still trying to reach a higher realm. This ancient green dragon does look like an evil dragon. It's still cultivating? The two elders looked at each other in surprise. They never thought that Lin Chun would actually raise an evil dragon. Whatever, I don't care if you're an evil dragon or demonic dragon. As long as it's Lin Chen's strength, it belongs to me. I will not let you kill the innocent. Lin Chun kept the ancient green dragon back in his body and picked up all the attribute light balls floating in the air. The attribute values increased rapidly. Host has received 300 million Battle Chi Essence, 1 million Cultivation Technique Essence, 2 million Wood Energy, 100 million Battle Chi Essence. Host has received 510,000 Spiritual Power, 50 million Chi and Blood Energy, 100,000 Rune Energy, 500,000 rune energy. Lin Chen's pure strength and battle chi cultivation base started to make breakthroughs at a rapid speed. Even the two red-robed elders who had seen a lot felt their hearts skip a beat. As his battle chi rose, Lin Chen's cultivation broke through the cover of the 10,000 layers fire net and advanced to the late stage of the 4th layer in front of the two elders. What a pity. If there was another Heaven Star Border Stage 9, I might be able to advance to Heaven Star Border Stage 5. Lin Chen sighed regretfully. However, a Heaven Star Border Stage 9 was not a cabbage. With Lin Chen's current strength, he might not even be a match for him. Hearing Lin Chen's regretful words, even with their experience, the two of them couldn't help but drop their jaws. What kind of cultivation technique is this? Can one advance by killing people? But there must be a process to this advancement. They didn't even see if Lin Chen was using a cultivation technique or some other method. Just like that, he jumped from the early stage of the 4th layer to the late stage of the 4th layer. Could it be that he could cultivate together with the demonic dragon? This was too inconceivable. Lin Chen, this old man, deeply feels that to be able to cooperate with someone like you is the best decision in the history of our Han family. One of the red-robed elders looked deeply at Lin Chen and said solemnly. They saw endless possibilities in Lin Chen's body. He had all kinds of mysterious and heaven-defying methods. Even the legendary Saint Child might not have them. Although this method seemed to be an evil sex method, the two of them were experienced and could tell at a glance that Lin Chen was not the kind of person who would willfully kill innocent people for the sake of cultivation. That was why they thought so highly of Lin Chen. There's no other way. After all, I'm most handsome man in the 9 provinces, Lin Chen said seriously. Bai Ruoyan couldn't help but laugh. 2 hours later, only Lin Chen and Bai Ruoyan were left in the room. Both of their injuries had recovered by more than 90% and weren't in any danger. Bai Ruoyan sat on the bed, revealing her flawless back. Her fine black hair was coiled up and her skin was tender. No matter how many times Lin Chen looked at her skin, it made his blood boil. He bit the tip of his tongue and forced himself to calm down. This will be the last time to expel the poison. And I wonder how much cultivation I can recover this time, Bai Ruoyan said expectantly. However, she didn't know that her delicate ears were dyed red and her heart was beating faster. Lin Chen stretched out his hand and placed his palm on Bai Ruoyan's flawless back. He activated the runic energy, and the corrosive poison hidden in the deepest part of Bai Ruoyan's body was suddenly extracted. Oh! Bai Ruoyan bit her cherry lips. She didn't dare to make any unnecessary movements and disturb Lin Chen. Host received 5 million points of runic energy. 1 million points of runic energy. The system's light screen popped up. Lin Chen didn't have time to pay attention to it. He found that there was still a deep accumulation of corrosive poison hidden in the depths of Bai Ruoyan's body. It seems that the person who is chasing after Sister Ruoyan is not a small matter. The poison is still so strong, even after such a long time. Lin Chen was secretly shocked. He exerted his strength and activated more runic energy to condense in his palm. He then pulled out. Bai Ruoyan's face flushed red. It was the first time she let out a soft moan. A poisonous dragon-like poison gas was extracted from her delicate body. The poisonous dragon was fierce and ferocious. It rushed into Lin Chen's palm with a loud bang. Not good. It's too fierce. Lin Chen was shocked. The poison should be corroding his body now. At the critical moment, a ray of light shot out from between Lin Chen's eyebrows and absorbed the poisonous dragon. It was like a sea of stars swallowing the dragon, stretching as far as the eye could see. After the poisonous dragon was absorbed, the system's light screen popped up. Host is absorbing the energy that formed the corrosive runic energy. The power of the level 3 corrosive runic energy is increasing. Chapter 276. Lin Chen was so frightened that he sat on the other side of the bed and broke out in cold sweat. If this corrosive gas entered his body, even if he didn't die, he would lose half his life. Crack! 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 Space fluctuated, and the space in the room started to crack. The entire loft started to shake and crumble. Byroyan's beautiful celestial body slowly rose into the air. A battle aura that could suppress the stars was like a giant dragon awakening. It contained tens of thousands of mountains and rivers, and was like an abyss or an ocean. It was released from Byroyan's body. This aura was as if a whole new world had appeared. It was vast, profound, and mysterious. Lin Chen's strength could only be suppressed in all aspects in front of her. The only thing he could use was his characteristic runes. What a terrifying cultivation base. This is definitely a Yuan venerate above the Heaven Dipper realm. Furthermore, she is many times stronger than those two elders. Lin Chen broke out in cold sweat. Fortunately, Byroyan was on his side. If she had been an enemy, he would have been like a salted fish on a chopping board. He would have had to listen to her, whether she wanted to roast or fry him. I never imagined that I would be able to return to the Yuan venerate level in my lifetime. Thank you, little brother Lin Chen. How can I repay you? Byroyan gracefully turned around and smiled sweetly, turning all living things upside down. Lin Chen was stunned for a moment, causing the beautiful woman to cover her mouth and laugh softly. After coming back to his senses, Lin Chen coughed softly and said seriously, "Repay me." Sister Royan, have you thought it through? One day later, the last 10% of Lin Chen's injuries were about to recover. The red-robed elder had kept Lin Chen's whereabouts a secret. Apart from Han Yiji and a few other people, no one in the Han family knew that Lin Chen had returned to the Han family. The current Lin Chen was equivalent to a savior in the Han clan. At the end of the alchemy festival, the Han family had obtained 2 spots to participate in the sacred flame baptism. This was something that the Han family, which had declined for 100,000 years, had never imagined. The entire Han family was filled with gratitude towards Lin Chen, revering him as if he was a god. Creak! The door to Lin Chen's room was pushed open, and he suddenly opened his eyes. The first thing he saw was a pair of long and slender legs. Am I bothering you? Lin Chen smiled at her. When did you become so restrictive? Han Ziyin closed the door and stared at Lin Chen with her beautiful eyes. This seemingly frivolous young man had a calm and mysterious look in his eyes from beginning to end. In his eyes, there was a sea of stars. It was just like how he had suppressed all the alchemy geniuses of the ancient families and left. I heard you're leaving? Han Ziyin stared at Lin Chen's face and asked. Her lips were red like the clouds. Yes, now is not the time to stay in the Han family. I still have things to do. Lin Chen nodded. Then he teased, why? You can't bear to part with me, the female lead of the alchemy festival? Han Ziyun's face turned red. She gathered her courage and pushed Lin Chen. The woman was on top, and the man was on the bottom. The two of them were in a very intimate position. Lin Fan looked at Han Ziyun in confusion. What is she trying to do? She can't be trying to molest me, right? I'm so nervous. I'm still a virgin. Should I be responsible for crying out loud? Or should I make her cry out loud? I'm here to fulfill my promise. Han Ziyin bit her cherry lips with her white teeth. The tips of her delicate ears were red, and she breathed out a fragrant scent. Her fine black hair fell down, and the beauty's face was just inches away. Lin Chen finally remembered the bet he made with her. You want to spend the night with me? If that's the case, then I'll be happy. Then I won't be polite. Lin Chen flipped over and pressed his body against hers. He pushed the beauty to the corner of the wall and gently lifted her snow-white chin. Han Ziyun's eyebrows trembled. Her beautiful eyes were tightly shut. She was nervous, but there was a trace of anticipation in her heart. Her body was trembling nonstop. She, who was obsessed with alchemy, had never looked at any man her age. But the young man in front of her was different. He appeared like a shooting star and was about to leave like a shooting star. He left an unforgettable mark in her heart. She didn't know when, but she had opened her heart to him. However, it was not what she had imagined. The young man's slightly cold hand patted her thigh lightly. Han Ziyun's body trembled as if she had been electrocuted. Then, when she opened her eyes, he was already standing by the window. The moonlight shone on his face. Only his back could be seen. He didn't even turn his head. You once told me that people who are strong in battle are just barbarians. Alchemists who control cultivation resources are the real deal. I think it's the complete opposite. An alchemist without strength is just a fat sheep in the eyes of others. If you want to improve your alchemy skills, what you should do now is to go see the outside world and improve your own strength. Until we meet again, Miss Han Ziyun. Lin Chun leaped into the air and jumped down from the window, leaving the beautiful woman to wait in the empty room. Increase my strength, the beautiful woman muttered softly. But she found that her clothes were already messy, revealing a large area of her snow-white skin. Lin Chun had already taken off her clothes. Oomph, cowardly pervert. Why are you still acting cool before leaving? What a good self-control, handsome, and rare man. Little brother Lin Chun, are you sure you won't regret it? If you turn back now, there's still time to kiss her. The two left the Han residence and flew high up in the sky. Bai Ruoyan's green eyes looked at Lin Chun with a smile that wasn't a smile. Sister Ruoyan, what you said just now was only a 10,000th of my strength. Please don't spread it. I like to keep a low profile. Lin Chun chuckled as if he didn't hear her. Thinking of the girl's courage, Bai Ruoyan sighed in her heart. This little guy, who knows how many outstanding girls' hearts he will ruin. The two traveled day and night, crossing hundreds of thousands of miles and many borders. They entered the territory of the Blood River sect, the desert city of the Yellow region. The entire Yellow region was located at the extreme south of the Spirit region. It was a chaotic place where killing was second nature and chaos never ceased. There were many evil sects, and a large number of people with unknown origins were exiled here. The desert city was one of the territories controlled by the Blood River sect. Today, thousands of sects were here, and a grand auction was about to begin. On the street, a young man and woman were walking side by side. A group of people walked towards them with a strong smell of blood. When the three people in the lead lifted the wine jug at their waist, a strong smell of blood was emitted from it. The wine brewed from the essence blood of a Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 1 is so satisfying. Huh? I heard that there's even a level 5 high-grade artifact in this auction. Why are the two in front unfamiliar faces? Why aren't you bowing when you see our Azure Sea organization? Damn it. Are you looking to die? The group of Heaven Dipper Realm cultivators shouted at the green-clothed man and woman. Some of them greedily looked at the beautiful woman's figure. Chapter 277. Although this girl looks ordinary, her figure's the best I've ever seen. Damn it, I can't help it. Take her down. The barbaric heretical leader let out a perverted laugh and immediately slammed his palm forward. Boom! A gust of wind swept past. The young man maintained a smile as he raised his hand and sent a palm strike over. His 5 fingers contained a shocking power that could reverse the flow of the galaxy. Bang! The gust of wind destroyed dozens of tall buildings and almost flipped the entire street over. Dozens of Heaven's star border realms were instantly smashed into pieces. The eyes of some of the underworld powerhouses nearby shrank. These two were so young, yet they had such strength. This desert city is really creepy. It's a carnival for the evil sect martialists. The young man frowned as he collected the attribute light balls on the ground with a flash of green light. There's only pure power here. Those who can enter this place are all evil people who have killed more than 100,000 people. The girl in green nodded. These two were Lin Chun and Bai Ruoyan, who was in disguise. Just in time. If a fight breaks out, we can wipe them all out. Lin Chun's eyes flashed with a rare fierceness and killing intent. His ancient azure dragon was already restless, unable to hold back its thirst. Yes, let's enter the auction venue first. The Blood River sect has a few strongholds. If we destroy one, it will affect all of them. However, this auction is different. All the evil sect powerhouses are gathered here. The Blood River sect's leader will definitely come out to hold the fort. Otherwise, these guys might do anything. Bai Ruoyan smiled and nodded. She had regained the strength of a yuan venerate. As long as they encountered each other, she had absolute confidence in eliminating them. The two of them walked towards the auction venue. Wherever they passed, all the evil sect powerhouses automatically made way for them. The Desert City auction venue. It was an imposing venue at the edge of the desert city that could accommodate 10,000 people. There were countless illegal goods from the spiritual state and other regions. All of them were treasures that could not see the light of day and would be auctioned here. Damn it! How long do you want me to wait? What the hell are you talking about? I'm a third-level Heaven Star Border Realm, and I haven't even called you yet. Is it your turn to rush me? What did you say? Damn it, draw your blade if you have the guts. Noise, curses, killing intent, and blood filled the entire venue. Unlike the auctions Lin Shun had attended before, the Desert City auction was filled with a tense atmosphere. It was as if the numerous evil sect martial artists could break out into a fight at any moment. Welcome everyone to the Desert City auction. Our Blood River sect will follow the same old rules. Anyone who dares to make a move in the auction will be executed. I hope that everyone will not seek their own deaths and remain calm. At this time, a charming woman of Heaven Dipper Realm Level 6 appeared on the stage. She was dressed in rags and had a hot figure. There were 3 skulls tied around the woman's waist, making her look eerie. Bang, bang, bang. The auction hall was over 100 meters tall, and thick iron gates were erected all around it. At the same time, 5 powerful auras rose from the backstage of the auction hall. What a strong chi! 2 Heaven Dipper Realm Level 7, 2 Heaven Dipper Realm Level 8, and 1 Heaven Dipper Realm Level 9. Lin Chun exclaimed inwardly. Including the 3 people who were killed and the vice sect leader who was killed by Byron, Blood River sect had 4 Heaven Dipper Realm Level 8 experts and 3 Heaven Dipper Realm Level 9 experts. If this force was placed in the spiritual state, even second-rate sects would be wary of it. The moment the Blood River sect experts appeared, the numerous evil sect experts immediately quieted down. The sect leader of Blood River sect is here. He has only recovered 60% of his injuries. Even the entire Blood River sect's top experts are here. Bai Ruoyan's beautiful face flashed with a rare trace of killing intent. She was once surrounded and attacked by numerous experts before escaping. After being poisoned, her strength was greatly reduced, and she almost lost her life in the pursuit of the Blood River sect. Today, she was going to start with the Blood River sect and take back the blood debt from that year. The charming woman of Heaven Dipper Realm Level 6 held an ancient sword in her hand as she spoke softly. Everyone, today's first auction item is the dog heads of the entire Blood River sect. The starting price is a pile of dog poop. Every increment must not be lower than 2 piles of dog poop. Everyone, please make your own bids. At this moment, the young man's mocking laughter spread throughout the auction hall. Many evil sect experts were so shocked that they immediately stood up. Who had the guts to come to the Blood River sect's territory to seek death? The evil sect experts beside Lin Chen quickly retreated, afraid that they would be implicated. In the front row, a certain Lin had his hands behind his head as he crossed his legs and looked at the people on the stage with a mocking expression. Suddenly, the charming woman covered her mouth and chuckled. I was wondering who it was. So it's the famous Heavenly Song Academy's new generation genius, Lin Chun, young Master Lin. What the F***CK? This time, it was Lin Chen's turn to be dumbfounded. My name and handsomeness have actually spread to the outskirts of Yellow State's Desert City? It really is Lin Chun. Didn't the Eternal Rain Palace say that they would reward this kid's head with a top-grade green mental cultivation technique and a high-grade level 5 artifact? Ha ha ha. I remember that the 8 Desolation Palace offered 5 million high-grade spirit stones and a top-grade green mental cultivation technique as a reward. Kill him. Mother Faster's this is a big fat sheep. The entire auction hall was in an uproar. The corner of Lin Chen's mouth twitched. Damn it, so it's these 2 forces. Boom. The aura of a Yuan Venerate leaked out slightly. Space froze, and thousands of Heaven Dipper sovereigns were unable to move. Byroyan suppressed the entire auction hall. With a light wave of her sleeve, dozens of white streaks shot in a specific direction and pierced through dozens of evil sect experts. I've already heavily injured those above Heaven Dipper sovereigns for you. The Blood River sect master has discovered my aura and is escaping. I'll chase after him. I'll leave this place to you. Remember to leave his head for me. Byroyan secretly transmitted her voice to Lin Shun. He hurriedly replied. Byroyan couldn't help but laugh. With a shake of her body, she entered the void and disappeared in an instant. Byroyan's disappearance only left behind the dumbfounded heretic sect experts. Roar. A dragon's roar shook heaven and earth. An ancient azure dragon appeared out of thin air with a monstrous aura. The entire desert city was in an uproar in an instant. 200,000 miles away from the desert city, two figures were flying at high speed. Given the experience you've accumulated, young master, you will definitely pass the Academy's assessment and become a purple merit prodigy whose name will go down in history. The old man in green smiled faintly. The handsome young man flying in front of him smiled proudly. The Academy hasn't had a purple merit prodigy for thousands of years. The next generation will be my Fu Wanshuan's era. The heroic and handsome young man had just finished speaking when he suddenly frowned. Both their expressions changed at the same time. What happened to the Blood River sect that worships me? Chapter 278. In the desert city, the azure dragon roared with a dense, evil aura. The 2,000 feet long, evil azure dragon coiled in the air with dark green scales. It had the face of a qilin, the tail of a carp, and the dragon horn that absorbed the light of the stars. Its entire body emitted an ancient aura, as if it could destroy mountains and rivers with a casual breath. Lin Shun sat on the azure dragon's head and played with the dozens of spirit storage rings. He patted its dragon horn with satisfaction. It swallowed more than 2,000 evil sect experts in one breath. I'm afraid it can even fight against a Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8. With just a thought, Lin Shun investigated the ancient azure dragon's dragon vein that contained the majestic dragon chi. Every dragon vein contained the power of a prehistoric giant dragon. One dragon vein contained 10 dragon force. The ancient azure dragon's body now had 121 dragon veins, 12 10 dragon force. It was more than 3 times the previous amount. Lin Shun couldn't help but sigh. The higher the level of the martial Dao, the more terrifying it was. When the azure dragon controlled 4 dragon force, it could already fight against a majority of Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 1 experts. Now, it could only fight against a Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8 expert with 1,000 dragon force. At this moment, Desert City was in ruins. It had been reduced to rubble, and many heretical experts who had come from all over the place had died here. Lin Shun might have obtained many attribute light balls from the evil sect experts, but his cultivation was still at the peak of Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 4. Experts of the same level would drop no more than 3 attribute light balls. The increase in Lin Chen's cultivation was negligible. Only those above Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 7 would have a significant increase. At this moment, a faint white light came from the horizon. Byroyan used the power of space to carry 3 figures and casually threw them in front of Lin Shun. They still have a breath left. I know you need them, so I didn't kill them. Byroyan smiled. Lin Chen's eyes lit up. Sky Song Academy's Lin Shun, why did you destroy my Blood River sect? Who is this woman? Do you know who my master is? The Blood River sect's sect master was frightened out of his wits. Facing Lin Shun, he coldly reprimanded. Seeing that Lin Shun was unmoved, the 2 Heaven Dipper Realm 8th layer next to him warned. Our master is Fu Wanquan from the Fu family of the spiritual state, the peerless genius of the current Heavenly Song Academy, who is most likely to become a purple merit warrior. If you know what's good for you, then let us go. Otherwise, with master's strength and foundation, crushing you, a fellow student of Heavenly Song Academy, would be as easy as flipping his hand. Lin Chen shook his head and laughed in spite of himself. He decisively smashed their skulls to pieces. If he, Lin Chen, was afraid of trouble, he wouldn't be Lin Chen. A Heavenly Dipper Realm 9th layer late stage and 2 8th layer late stage, after dying in the hands of Lin Chen, dropped a large number of attribute light balls suspended in the void. Lin Chen accepted them all. The ancient azure dragon flipped its body and absorbed all the attribute light balls into its body. Host has received 1 billion battle chi essence, 5 million rune energy, 100,000 spiritual power. Host has received 200 million blood energy, 5 million metal energy, 300 million battle chi essence, 4 million cultivation technique essence. A sea of attribute values surged into Lin Chen's body. The 9-color battle spirit that had been silent for a long time in his dantian trembled slightly. The ancient azure dragon opened its mouth and swallowed the 3 people. The dragon vein in its body began to grow dragon energy again. Waves of dragon energy that could move mountains and fill seas were born. Ka! With Lin Chen as the center, the space of 100 feet was constantly shattered. A huge 9-colored energy vortex appeared on top of his head. Every time the 9-colored vortex spun, it would constantly crack and distort the space. This was a sign that after the battle chi merged with heaven and earth, it began to connect with space. This symbolized that Lin Chen was about to step into Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 5. What kind of cultivation technique is this little guy cultivating? It actually has a kind of mystery that far surpasses the ancient and primordial era. Fire Oyan was very knowledgeable and exclaimed in surprise at the 9-colored vortex above Lin Chen's head. There are Yuan Venerate level powerhouses approaching here? Suddenly, Fire Oyan's eyes narrowed as she looked towards the east. 2 people? Could it be? Boom! The 9-colored vortex erupted violently and entered Lin Chen's body like a funnel. He and the ancient azure dragon broke through at the same time. After his battle chi cultivation reached the middle stage of Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 5, it gradually stopped. The ancient azure dragon had given birth to another 20 dragon veins, increasing his dragon power by 200. Oh, a Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 5 and a Yuan Venerate. You guys actually dare to destroy the Blood River sect that I raised. 2 figures slowly descended in the sky above the desert city. Lin Chen turned around and saw the dazzling blue emblem on the person's chest. He squinted his eyes and smiled casually. You are the master that the Blood River sect mentioned, Fu Wanquan. The young man's clothes were as white as snow, and he carried a 3-foot-long sword. He had a dignified appearance, and his eyes contained thousands of sword intents surging, slicing, and killing intent. A mere Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 5 has also heard of my name. Fu Wanquan slowly unsheathed his sword, and a bright moon seemed to rise between heaven and earth. His expression was deep and solemn. The sword was inlaid with 3 azure bright jades. The blade was straight, and the blade was as cold as frost. It was like an invincible sword that shook the heavens when unsheathed. Myriad Spring's sword, one of the famous swords of the spiritual state. It was a peerless treasure sword that Master One had personally customized for Fu Wanquan. It was a grade 6 sword. Fire Oyan's expression changed slightly. This person could control a grade 6 sword and was definitely not an ordinary genius. He might even be close to the saints and saintesses of the ancient families. She was about to flash to Lin Chen's side to protect him when the old man in green moved slightly and blocked in front of Byron. None of the people my young master wants to kill has ever been able to leave alive. Your Excellency should just stay here obediently. The old man in green said indifferently. Fire Oyan was about to launch an attack when she realized that Lin Chen's face was also filled with battle intent and anticipation. Seems like this little guy has some confidence. Let me watch first. Kid, you seem to be different from the other small fries. Before you die under this young master's sword, tell me your name. Fu Wanquan said indifferently. He could tell that Lin Shun was not an ordinary person with one glance. Sky Song Academy, Lon Sun Lin Shun. The black abyss appeared in his hand, and Lin Shun smiled indifferently. The ancient azure dragon turned into a dragon light and entered his body. Lin Chen's pure strength rose to 1,400 dragon force points. Oh, you are also from the Academy? And a body refinement martial artist who is one with the Azure Dragon. You have some tricks up your sleeves. This is not the Academy. There are no elders protecting you. Today, you must pay for the debt of the Blood River sect with your life. This young master only needs 3 moves to kill you. Rip! As soon as he finished speaking, the sound of space being torn apart echoed through the entire sky. A sword light that could split the heavens and earth flew out from the myriad spring sword. It split the clouds and struck towards Lin Shun. Azura, 9 brilliance change, heavenly water change, lightning punishment change. The moment the water and lightning energy bloodlines completely erupted, Lin Shen's aura rose to the peak of Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 6. Chapter 279. The 1,400 points of dragon power was like 1,000 dragons roaring at the same time. Mixed with the fierce and domineering green lightning, the spear stabbed out. Bang! Chi-Chi. Fu Wanquan's expression changed slightly. He obviously didn't expect Lin Shun to have such strength. Pure strength and demonic, might-wild thunder superimposed. Lin Chen's tyrannical spear shattered the sword light. The rainbow-like sword light shattered and turned into a sky full of stars scattering in all directions. 1/4-inch this young master admits that you have the qualifications to exchange blows with me. But that's all. Fu Wanquan sneered. The shattered sword light turned around like a dragon and passed through the area behind Lin Shun as if it had a mind of its own. Then it suddenly gathered and slashed at Lin Shun again. Damn. What kind of sword art is this? Lin Chen's jaw almost dropped. Demonic might-wild thunder spear art was displayed again. The abyss spear cut through layers of afterimages. A demonic battle thousand thunder bloomed like a screen. Boom, boom, boom. The spear's shadow and green lightning pushed forward layer by layer, completely annihilating the sword light into nothingness. This young master has plenty of mere blue rank battle skills. 9 soul, severing sword. Fu Wanquan's fingertips brushed across the sword body. The sword intent suffused with a faint purple evil aura seemed to cut through eternity. When the sword flashed out, the yin and yang of heaven and earth were cut. The sword light that jumped through space seemed to be only one, but it actually had 8 different trajectories. One sword hiding 8 swords. If this sword was used against an ordinary Heaven Dipper Realm 9th stage, it was very likely to seriously injure the opponent on the spot. But under Lin Chen's purple gold eyes, the hidden killing intent of this sword light was obvious. Come on. Charging rune, prestige, descending 8 desolates. Lin Chen's heroic spirit soared to the sky. He held his spear and attacked alone. Thunder dragons embellished the tip of the spear. Thousands of thunder dragons twisted the purple sword light directly. Taking advantage of the thunder dragons to weaken the sword light, the abyss spear waved wildly. Lin Shun instantly shattered the 8 sword light hidden in the sword light. With a stomp of his foot, thousands of greenwood vines shot out like sharp arrows, piercing towards Fu Wanquan, who had just appeared behind Lin Shun. With a flip of the sword, the slightly overflowing sword light shattered Lin Chen's indestructible aged metal vine. Just as Fu Wanquan was about to swing his sword, an icy star shot out from the void, freezing everything within 1,000 miles. It was so cold that even space itself seemed to be frozen. Charging rune, corrosive rune, freezing sky finger. Fu Wanquan's pupil shrank. He actually felt a rare sense of threat. He instinctively activated his defensive combat skill, the blue rank intermediate great white sword body. A pure white sword light enveloped his body and blocked Lin's freezing sky, finger head on. With a sweep of his sword, the remaining power of the heavenly freezing finger was crushed into nothingness. Pulling the sword, Fu Wanquan's sword tip stabbed 9 times in quick succession, the sword light whistling through the air. Every single one of these 9 swords contained a top-notch green tier sword art that had been cultivated to the pinnacle. There was a myriad of them. Some are like coiling dragons, some are like rainbows, some are like thunderbolts, some are like 10,000 mountains. Some were flexible and heavy, some were imposing, and some were secretly murderous. With the combination of these, it was actually comparable to a fully cultivated blue-rank sword technique. Lin Shun activated his celestial battle aura, his entire body flashing with thousands of lightning bolts. With a burst of pure strength, he repeatedly swung his abyssal spear, shattering the 9 sword techniques. How did my sword technique become so weak? Fu Wanquan was bewildered. He realized that there was a corrosive energy in his battle aura cultivation, meridians, and bones that was corroding him. It was this energy that had caused his attacks to weaken by more than a third. I didn't know a level 3 corrosive rune was this strong. Damn it, I'll beat you up first. Lin Chen's expression lit up, as if he had found a treasure. With a stomp of the blue wind vortex at the tip of his feet, his figure flashed like a stream of light. He didn't give Fu Wanquan any time to react. His spear technique was like a dragon, wildly smashing and stabbing at Fu Wanquan's head and shoulders. Activating the Venus sword physique, Fu Wanquan raised his sword to fight. The rapidly brandished sword shadow and the sturdy body of the spear collided. As the spear and sword clashed, countless flames of war burst forth. Because of Lin Shen's pure strength and corrosive rune, Lin Shen had the upper hand in close combat, violently beating Fu Wanquan all the way. Although it was a violent beating, in reality, it was all blocked by Fu Wanquan's defensive battle techniques. Lin Shen had used the purple phoenix wings to escape with by Ruoyan the last time, exceeding the limit and destroying most of them. Without the purple phoenix wings, Lin Shen was no longer able to burst forth with speed that far exceeded those of the same level to suppress his opponent. Based on the battle, Lin Shen had already ascertained Fu Wanquan's cultivation. He was in the middle stage of Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 8, and there were signs of a breakthrough at any time. Relying on the mysteries of the 9 tribulations of Genesis, the double transformation of Azura, 9 brilliance transformation, and the amplification of the Azure Dragon's pure strength, Lin Shen could barely fight him head-on. In the face of so many powerful battle techniques, Lin Shen still needed the help of characteristic runes to be able to fight him. This showed how powerful Fu Wanquan was. In just 10 breaths, Fu Wanquan had eliminated most of the corrosive rune's power. Heavenly Leader Yin Yang Finger. Heavenly Freezing Finger. 2 fingers collided, rolling up a world-shaking, destructive storm. The golden gung spear revealed its sharpness, unbreakable, and repeatedly stabbed out. The tip of the sword moved, and hundreds of sword lights were like a storm that swallowed the starry sky, strangling the golden gung chi. The tip of the spear pierced through the void, and the tyrannical pure strength was like a wild dragon coming out of the sea, furiously stabbing. The blade moved, and the moment it blocked the spear, it spun rapidly, shaking the spear tip and slashing back. Lin Shen raised his spear to block and released his dragon power. When the spear and the blade collided, the 2 of them retreated a dozen steps and were sent flying 1,000 meters away. Interesting. There are less than 6 people in the academy who can fight with me like this. I know all of them, but I don't know you, kid. Looks like you're a dark horse. You're worth me using my trump card to deal with. Fu Wanquan glanced at Lin Shen with interest, and his sword technique changed again. Lin Shen was instantly focused and ready for battle. To be honest, Lin Shen had seen all kinds of geniuses after coming to the spiritual state. However, Fu Wanquan in front of him gave him an unfathomable feeling. He had truly seen what a peerless genius was. In terms of sword techniques, Fu Wanquan was proficient in all kinds of high-level sword techniques, and the blue-tier sword technique was easy to grasp. There was also the sharpness of his tier 6 sword. If Lin Chen wasn't able to convert his metal elemental bloodline to use the Heavenly Dipper battle aura to protect himself, he definitely wouldn't dare to fight him in close combat. Apart from that, mastering the most powerful battle technique didn't mean that one's battle strength would be perfect. The most ideal state was to use the most appropriate battle technique at the most appropriate time. So far, among the younger generation, only Fu Wanquan could do that. Astral Sacred Sword. Sword opens heaven's gate. Boom! Light illuminated the void and gathered in the 10,000 Springs sword, condensing into a 1,000-meter-long starlight sword with the power to destroy the world. The astral sword's sharpness was hard to block. Fu Wanquan swung his sword down, and the astral sword suddenly slashed down explosively, pointing directly at Lin Chun. Slowing rune. He slapped the void with one hand, and the slowing rune descended from the sky, suppressing the energy astral sword on the spot. In Lin Chen's eyes, there was a ferocious look as if he had nothing to lose, and he dashed forward. Chapter 280. Demonic Might Wild Thunder. Just as the slowing rune suppressed Fu Wanquan's killing move, Lin Chen executed the 3 moves of Demonic Might Wild Thunder in one go. Together with the charging rune, they all burst out. Thousands of green lightning spear shadows spread out like thousands of galloping horses. The lightning dragon swept across the sky and pierced through the blade of the energy star sword. My star sacred sword has actually been suppressed. Previously, it corroded my battle chi, and now it's still the same. This brat has used some techniques that even I have never seen before. Fu Wanquan's eyes revealed an unconcealable shock. He had never seen or heard of Lin Chen's various techniques before. In the next moment, his eyes revealed a fanatical greed. If I get my hands on such mysterious techniques, I'm afraid the #1 position in the academy will be mine. This brat must have a big secret. Capture him alive and extract his secrets. Who knows, he might be even more valuable than the Blood River sect. In a flash, just as Fu Wanquan was about to use his full strength, Lin Chen's lips curled into a sneer. Lin Chen could clearly see his greed. Since he dared to set his eyes on his characteristic rune, then Lin Chen, was not someone to be trifled with. Lin Chen was about to use the 3rd transformation of the Azura 9 Brilliance transformation and planned to use the slowing rune to fight with Fu Wanquan. Suddenly, a crack appeared in the sky. Rumble. A figure was blasted out and fell like a meteor. That figure was the old man in green who had followed Fu Wanquan from the beginning. There were traces of blood at the corner of his mouth. His face was pale, and his breathing was weak. It was obvious that he had been severely injured. Young master, the Yuan venerate beside this brat has extraordinary strength. We shouldn't stay here for long. Fu Wanquan glanced at the old man in surprise and saw a beautiful figure slowly appear beside Lin Chen. Yuan venerate, huh? It's still a little too early for me. Forget it. Since we are all students of the Sky Song Academy, this brat can't run away. In the future, his 2 mysterious techniques will be mine sooner or later. Fu Wanquan sneered as he looked deeply at Lin Chen and sheathed his 1,000 Spring sword. Lin Chen, right? I'll remember it. You dared to destroy the Blood River sect that I nurtured for many years. This debt will be repaid tenfold sooner or later. The old man took Fu Wanquan into the void. Byron didn't force them to stay and let them go. A Yuan venerate might not be able to threaten her, but it could threaten Lin Chen's life. If anything happened to this little guy, he would never be able to forgive himself for the rest of his life. Lin Chen dispelled the Azura 9 Brilliance transformations. Waves of weakness could be felt from his body, but he was no longer as weak as before. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Swoosh. If I can't kill. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. He had never been at such a disadvantage in a battle. After all this time, he hadn't even been able to obtain a single attribute light ball. His entire body had been weakened, and even his war spear had been battered to pieces by his opponent. Little brother Lin Shun, you don't have to be discouraged. That young man has cultivated for at least 30 years more than you. Furthermore, his strength is already very close to that of an ancient family's holy son or holy daughter. You should be proud that you were able to fight with him for more than 100 rounds without being at a disadvantage. You might even be able to surpass him in a few more years. With a trace of tenderness in her beautiful eyes, Bai Ruoyan comforted him with a few words. Sister Ruoyan, I'm going to return to the Sky Song Academy. Are you coming with me? Lin Shun turned around. Bai Ruoyan chuckled when she saw his expectant expression. Sure, I can. After all, I haven't investigated my next enemy and the steps to recover my strength yet. Blindly moving around is also a waste of time, so it doesn't matter if I go with you for the time being. However, the Sky Song Academy doesn't allow outsiders to enter. Furthermore, I'm a Yuan Venerate. Don't worry, it's no big deal. I won't stay in the academy for more than a month. Sister Ruoyan, you can just wait outside the academy for a while. Lin Shin chuckled. Are you sure? I'm just afraid that those seniors and juniors who admire you will bring you to the Peach Blossom Village and forget about me. Isn't that so? Bai Ruoyan smiled faintly. Lin Shun blushed with shame. This Sister Ruoyan really understood him. How can those seniors and juniors in the academy compare to my fairy sister Ruoyan? What a glib tongue. Since when did I become yours? 3 days later, Lin Shun arrived at the Sky Song Academy. Bai Ruoyan was waiting for Lin Shun in Qinghai City outside the academy. She was also collecting some information about the past. After finding out that Lin Shun had left the Alchemy Festival, Lu Ying, Lin Tianjian, and the other Blue Merit Rank seniors had also left the Han family and returned to the Sky Song Academy the next day. In the academy's mission hall, a group of students and seniors stared dumbfounded at Lin Shun, who was scolding an elder. F** King Bullsh *T. I clearly completed the mission, and I was the one who put in the most effort. Why did that bastard Yi Xing get all the points? Lin Shin flew into a rage. He was so angry that smoke was coming out of his 7 orifices. He had just returned to the academy to submit the mission to kill the Han family's 4 evil dragons, and the elder actually told him that someone had already completed the mission. The most infuriating thing was that the person who received the reward was Yi Xing, who betrayed his teammates on the spot. He had been acting tough for many years, and he had always been the one who tricked others. There had never been a time when others tricked him. Today, he had really seen a ghost. Junior Lin Shun, don't be anxious. We've already reported this matter to the Elder Council. Back then, when Yi Xing returned to the academy and saw that the 4 evil dragons were dead, he announced that all of us had died in battle and that he was the only one who returned with a miserable victory. Therefore, he received the reward alone. At this time, Lin Tianjian, Lu Ying, and the others had also arrived at the mission hall. They explained to Lin Shun. Back then, he thought that we were all dead. I'm afraid he would never have imagined that Junior Lin Shun was so powerful that he could kill 4 evil dragons by himself. Lin Tianjian shook his head and laughed. This Yi Xing is really a little too sinister. After hearing Lin Tianjian's words, the students and seniors present were even more stunned. They felt their scalps go numb. Lin Shun had actually annihilated 4 evil dragons by himself. Back then, when they saw Yi Xing return in a sorry state with only 1 arm left, half of the academy was shocked. At that time, everyone agreed that only the top 80 Blue Merit Rank prodigies could complete the mission. However, Lin Shun actually completed it by himself? Oh my god, Lin Shun just became a Blue Merit Rank prodigy not long ago. He actually killed 4 evil dragons by himself? This kid is too good at hiding his strength. Senior Lin Shun is really my idol. Regardless of whether it was the new students or the seniors, they all exclaimed and looked up to Lin Shun from the bottom of their hearts. Although Yi Xing's actions are very shameful, He is now in the cultivation mystic realm. We have to wait for him to come out. The Elder Council has already decided to punish him severely. So, Junior Lin Shun, please calm down. Just as Lu Ying was about to appease Lin Sun's anger, Lin Sun revealed a harmless smile and said in a way that would shock her to death. Don't. Why should we wait for the Elder Council? I'm going to the cultivation mystic realm to talk to Senior Yi Xing about morality and conscience. Chapter 281. In the secret realm's main hall, Lin Chen aggressively barged in. Behind him was a large group of seniors and students who were watching the show. Lu Ying and the others were also very anxious as they kept trying to persuade him. If a blue merit rank student got into a fight, he would be punished by the elders. Even if Lin Shun had extraordinary potential, the elders would not let him off so easily. Lin Shun didn't care about those messy things. Wait for the elders? The elders might not really punish him. At most, he would be locked up for a few decades. But as for that bastard who betrayed his teammate at such a crucial moment, who even cheated Lin Shun of his points, and who even used him as a tool, if he didn't deal with him today, his name wouldn't be Lin Shun. The elders of the Secret Territory Hall were puzzled when they saw so many people. Today was not the day to give out the reward. Why were there so many people? Elder, I want to enter the Fallen Wind Secret Territory. Seeing that Lin Shun was about to enter the Fallen Wind Secret Territory, the elders who rushed over immediately shouted, Lin Shun, don't act on impulse. Wait for the higher-ups to inform you. Lin Shun did not even look back as he stepped into the Fallen Wind Secret Territory's spatial tunnel and disappeared from the hall. The elder who had just opened the spatial passage for Lin Shun had a puzzled look on his face. Just what had happened that made the elders so anxious? It's over. That brat went in. It's too late. Entering the secret territory is a random location. We don't even know where he will appear in the Fallen Wind Secret Territory. Yi Xing, Yi Xing. Of all the things you could do, why did you have to provoke Lin Shun? Yi Xing is Yi Ju Sheng's younger cousin and also his right-hand man. If Lin Shun does anything overboard to Yi Xing, Yi Ju Sheng probably won't let him off after he comes out of seclusion. The elders thumped their chests and stomped their feet. Everyone's hearts were in turmoil. After today, there would be another storm that would sweep through the school. The Fallen Wind Secret Realm was a vast and desolate mountain range surrounded by raging winds. There are wind blades like green light, like a flame passing by, and some are gray wind blades, emitting a sharp edge that even the Heaven Dipper Realm 7th layer has to avoid. In a valley somewhere in the secret realm, a one-armed young man was sitting cross-legged with a smirk on his face. The 7 million points from completing the mission are enough for me to cultivate in the secret realm for half a year. When Cousin Zhu Sheng comes out of seclusion, he might even be able to help me improve my strength. Just as Yi Xing was feeling complacent, the young man's cold laughter rang out in the valley. Senior Yi Xing sure is scheming. Not only did he betray his teammates during the mission, he even falsely claimed all of our mission reward points after returning to the academy. Even with my thick skin, I can't do such a thing. How did you do it? Yi Xing suddenly opened his eyes, revealing a trace of terror and disbelief. He looked around and saw Lin Shun standing at the peak of the valley. Lin Shun, you're not dead yet? Yi Xing exclaimed in shock. The mutated demonic dragon was comparable to the late-stage Heaven Dipper Realm 7th layer. Coupled with the 3 evil dragons' attacks, he thought that Lin Shun and the rest had become the demonic dragon's food. Even a person like you can live so freely. How can I, this young master, die? You're the first person who dares to use me as a tool. Yi Xing die. Lin Shun sneered and released the ancient Azure Dragon. 14 10 dragon power points were mixed with a mighty force that could move mountains and rivers. The dragon claw slashed down. Yi Xing's expression changed. His afterimage seemed to teleport through space, instantly leaving his original position. His speed was so fast that Lin Shun was surprised. The dragon claw pierced through the entire valley and turned it into ruins. Blue class movement technique. No wonder you can escape from the mutated demonic dragon. However, my ancient azure dragon is not as easy to deal with as the mutated demonic dragon. With a thought, Lin Shun flicked his finger, and the earth element battle chi merged with the ground like a dragon returning to the sea. 700 li away, several thousand zhang tall mountains broke through the ground like lightning and blocked Yi Xing's path. The ancient azure dragon roared and charged forward. It raised its dragon claw and slashed at Yi Xing. Yi Xing looked flustered as he hurriedly shouted, "Wait a minute, Lin Shun. I still have a lot of mission points with me. I can give them to you. Give them to your head. That's what I deserve. Die." Lin Shun cursed. The ancient azure dragon did not slow down and slashed at Yi Xing's head. Rumble. Yi Xing was slammed into the ground. Two pieces of rock were lifted up, and Yi Xing was pushed tens of thousands of meters underground. So this kid is actually so strong. Yi Xing struggled for a while and died underground. All that was left was the azure dragon treasure chest and some attribute light balls. Lin Shun jumped into the crack and collected a large number of attribute light balls. Host received 5 million points of wind element energy, 30 million points of battle chi essence, 15 million points of battle chi essence. After collecting all the attribute light balls, Lin Shun's wind element energy surged. Then he grabbed the azure dragon treasure chest that Yi Xing dropped. Host received the azure dragon treasure chest. Open the treasure chest to receive. Intermediate blue class movement technique, Wind Prison Hell King steps, Hell King transformation, 9 steps hell, 9 steps wind. Wind surges 1,000 miles, hell shuttles 10,000 feet. Intermediate blue class movement technique. It seems to be more advanced than the one Yi Xing just used. Great. It makes up for the weakness of my purple phoenix wings. The ancient azure dragon guarded Lin Shun as he sat cross-legged. He connected his consciousness to the system and issued an order. System, I want to learn Wind Prison Hell King steps. System received. Consumed 12 million cultivation technique essences. Passing on the Wind Prison Hell King step to the host. In less than half a day, Lin Shun had perfectly mastered the intermediate blue class movement technique. In the Fallen Wind secret realm, the dazzling array of attribute light balls was collected by a huge azure dragon and a ghostly shadow. After killing Yi Xing, Lin Shun didn't panic at all. He even collected a large number of wind element light balls in the center of the Fallen Wind secret realm. It's indeed an intermediate blue class movement technique. This level of movement technique is already rare. In the Heaven Star border realm, there shouldn't be many people who can match my speed. In just one day, Lin Shun went around half of the Fallen Wind secret realm and collected a large number of wind element light balls. In just one day, Lin Shun's wind element energy attribute had reached 95 million points, becoming the highest among the 9 battle chi attributes. Just as Lin Shun was about to leave, the ancient azure dragon above Lin Shun's head let out a strange roar towards the depths of the Fallen Wind secret realm. It was hostile and fearful at the same time. There seems to be something in the depths of the secret realm. Lin Shun turned around and scanned the area with his purple-golden eyes. There seemed to be a strange fluctuation of life in the depths of the secret realm. That's strange. According to the Academy's description of secret realms, as long as it's not a special secret realm, there should be any living thing. Chapter 282. The purple gold, I captured a newborn's life energy, but it was not a complete life form. In a flash, Lin Shun and the ancient azure dragon entered the center of the Fallen Wind secret realm. The center of the Fallen Wind secret realm was an unfathomably deep abyss. There were grayish-white wind blades dancing and whistling at the bottom of the abyss. The grayish-white wind blade slightly cut through the void, and a hair-thin crack appeared in the space. Even Lin Shun revealed a serious expression. The source of the life energy was at the bottom of the abyss. With a thought, the ancient azure dragon shrunk its body to 12 meters long. The gung metal battle, Qi formed a faint golden coating to protect its body. Lin Shun and the ancient azure dragon entered the abyss together. With the ancient azure dragon's current dragon body, its defense was enough to withstand a Heaven Star Border Stage 8 attack. Although the grayish-white wind blades around the abyss were powerful, they could not hurt the ancient azure dragon and Lin Shun. Boom! When they were 3,000 feet away from the abyss, an aura like that of an emperor descended upon the world, intimidating the universe. Roar! The ancient azure dragon roared anxiously, but Lin Shun shook his head and smiled. It's just a remnant will. It doesn't pose any threat. Break! Spiritual energy ripples spread out like ripples. With a slight release, the Emperor's aura was destroyed in an instant. A man and a dragon arrived at the bottom of the abyss. There was a bright underground world at the bottom of the abyss. In the underground world, broken limbs and feathers were scattered everywhere. A large skeleton appeared in front of Lin Shun. In the center of the skeleton, there was a ball of life energy that was as hot as fire. In the ball of life energy, there was also a fist-sized ball of attribute light. How fierce! This should be the corpse of a powerful, vicious beast from the ancient Phoenix clan. Although its main body died, the remnant life energy within its remains is actually gathered together once more, as if it wants to undergo nirvanic rebirth. What a strong life energy! Lin Shun was amazed. Perhaps even the elders of the academy did not know that a corpse in the cultivation secret realm could be in such a situation. If it wasn't for the purple gold pupil, Lin Shun wouldn't have been able to discover the secret of this place. This ancient phoenix has an extraordinary aura. Perhaps if it were to be reborn, it would be a fatal threat to the students who enter this mystic realm. Unfortunately, it met me, Lin Foam. With a thought, Lin Shun urged the ancient green dragon to swallow the ball of light. The ancient azure dragon had not only swallowed the ball of light that was about to undergo nirvana rebirth, but it had also swallowed the elemental ball of light within it. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the vitality energy of an ancient remnant. The host has obtained 88 billion points of vitality energy. Boom! At the same time, Lin Shun and the ancient azure dragon unleashed their blood-chi energy that blotted out the stars and covered the moon. Scorching heat waves surged like raging tides, sweeping up shocking hurricanes. The ancient azure dragon's entire body was burning with pale green chi and blood flames, and its body began to expand slightly. The dragon veins in his body were constantly filled, and then new dragon veins were born. It hurts. Oh my God! Lin Shun let out a soul-burning roar. This was the first time Lin Shun had absorbed such a terrifying amount of chi and blood energy in an instant. The quality of this elemental ball of light was so high that it almost caused his body to explode. In the next moment, Lin Shun's entire body was swallowing and emitting the light of the stars and moon. It was as if every pore on his body was glowing with a magnificent and shocking power. His pure strength began to rise in a straight line. Lin Shun, who originally had 290 dragon power in his flesh shell, advanced to 400, 500, and 600 dragon power like breaking through dry weeds and smashing rotten wood. In the end, Lin Shun's pure strength stopped at 720 dragon power. The ancient azure dragon climbed to 1680 dragon power, and there were 168 dragon veins in the dragon's body. Pure strength could match the early stage of Heaven Dipper Realm. With 720 dragon power, Lin Shun could fight the late stage of Heaven Dipper Realm head-on with pure strength alone. Coupled with his series of trump cards and battle skills, it was not a problem to fight the Heaven Dipper Realm head-on. If a man and a dragon fought separately, it was enough to match 2 Heaven Dipper Realm level 9. My purple phoenix wings have been repaired. Lin Shun's heart moved, and a pair of purple flame wings unfolded behind his back. It was so lifelike that every feather was flowing with purple flame radiance. Lin Shun's purple phoenix wings flapped slightly. It was as if he had jumped through space and tore open a crack in the space. Rip! Boom! The air rippled and set off endless airwaves. Lin Chen's figure disappeared from the underground world in an instant. 2 breaths later, an afterimage rushed out of the fallen wind's secret realm's central abyss. Lin Chen used the purple phoenix wings to activate the Wind Prison Hell King's step at full speed, leaving behind afterimages and green battle chi. Bang! 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 With every step that Lin Chen took, he turned into a ray of light and jumped tens of thousands of feet away like a shooting star. Such a terrifying momentum startled some of the students who were cultivating in the fallen wind's secret realm. Everyone looked up at the sky in shock, and their faces turned pale from the shock. In just 20 breaths, he had circled around the fallen wind's secret realm once. Ha ha! Awesome! If I meet that Fu Wanquan again, Brother Chun, I will definitely hammer him into a mantis shrimp and dance on top of his head. Lin Chen exhaled happily. The advantage of using speed to suppress opponents in the past had returned. It should be because the attribute light ball's energy belongs to the ancient Phoenix clan that my purple phoenix wings could be repaired. What a coincidence! It came at the right time. Lin Chen pondered for a moment and thought of the key point. Then he slapped his forehead. Oh my god, I almost forgot that the ancient Azure Dragon is still in the abyss. In the secret realm's main hall, Lin Chen returned to the main hall after taking away the attribute light ball. He found that there were already more than 10 elders waiting for him. Greetings, elders. Today is a joyous occasion, and I'm in high spirits. I suddenly feel handsome again. Sigh, so annoying. I'm suffering from troubles and pressure that I shouldn't have at my age. Lin Chen had just walked out of the main hall. Facing everyone's gaze, he stroked his bangs confidently and sighed deeply. Little guy, let me ask you, what did you do to Yi Xing? Did you find him? Elder Yuan was also in the group of elders and was the first to ask Lin Chen. His expression was unusually serious. Oh, I got rid of him. Lin Chen didn't even think about it. His casual words caused everyone in the main hall to suck in a breath of cold air. Crazy. This guy is definitely crazy. Killing a blue merit rank student just like that. Does he not know the Academy's rules, or does he not care? Killing 2 blue merit rank students in less than half a year after entering the Academy. This was unprecedented in history. It's over, you brat. How can you do things without thinking? This time, even this old man can't protect you. Elder Yuan said resentfully. His tone was regretful and regretful. At this time, a voice transmission spread through the entire Sky Song Academy and spread millions of miles away. Blue Merit Rank student Lin Chen has confirmed that he has killed Blue Merit Rank student Yi Xing. This is a serious violation of the Academy's rules. Everyone in the Secret Realm's main hall felt their hearts skip a beat. It's over. It's all over now. The Elder Council has spoken. This madman will be severely punished. Chapter 283. The Elders Guild's voice was transmitted to every corner of the school. Even if it was a million miles away, it could be heard clearly. The elders and students in the Secret Realm's Great Hall mourned for Lin Chen. Some of them were even gloating, waiting to watch a good show. Student Lin Chen has seriously violated the rules of the school. According to the rules, he should be locked up for 114 years. However, student Yi Xing betrayed another student and openly lied. He rashly received the mission reward points that should have belonged to the other 3 students, including Lin Chen. His attitude and actions were extremely bad, and he did not repent. The situation was very serious. Student Lin Chen's actions were pardonable and understandable. Therefore, student Lin Chen will be exempted from punishment, and student Lin Chen will be compensated for the mission reward. The Elders Guild's announcement made everyone's expression extremely interesting. Did I hear wrongly? Lin Chen is not punished at all? F***CK, did I see a ghost? Yi Xing is not Lu Ji. Although his crime is disgusting, it doesn't warrant death, right? Moreover, He has Yi Ju Sheng as his backer. How can the Elders Guild let Lin Chen go? Why is this? This is not fair. Back then, I was locked up for 2 years just because I peeked at senior sister bathing. This is not fair. Everyone, including the elders, could not have imagined this ending. They were all shocked and looked at Lin Shan in disbelief. At this moment, Lin Shan was holding a blue rose in his mouth and stroking his chin. He looked at the ceiling of the hall at a 45-degree angle and said sadly, "Maybe it's because I'm too handsome." Everyone was shocked. In the Elders Guild's hall. 0 punishment? Compensation for the mission reward? What are you all doing? Are you crazy? This is simply nonsense. What kind of decision is this? It completely damages the credibility of the Elders Guild. 2 elders who were good friends with Yi Ju Shang slammed the table angrily and scolded in a low voice. Elder Bai Mei, who was sitting at the head of the table, shook his head and smiled. He gave a signal with his eyes, and the white-clothed little girl beside him stretched out a few jade slips with a smile. Then, she handed them over to the 2 people. After the 2 of them received it, they asked in confusion, "What is this? Why don't you open it and see for yourself?" The white-clothed lowly said with a teasing smile. The 2 elders suppressed their anger and opened the jade slip. They couldn't help but exclaim in surprise. An invitation from the ancient family, the Lung family. Miss Ning Lingqing of the ancient aristocratic family, the Ning family, fell in love at first sight and is willing to be engaged to you forever. There's also the Han family's thank you letter and gift seal. This is... Even retired alchemy grandmasters by Yun, Xiang Tianin, and Qing Shuzi have sent out invitations to meet him. What's going on? When the 2 elders carefully read the contents of the book, their shock was unconcealable. The white-clothed little girl crossed her arms in front of her chest. Her beautiful eyes revealed some splendor and admiration as she smiled sweetly. Breaking into the Lung family's 1,000-moon tower alone and ascending to the highest level of the branch family, the 8th level. Receiving an invitation from the Lung family to participate in the Holy Fire level competition. Assisting the Han family's alchemy master with his own strength to participate in the ancient family's alchemy ceremony. Assisting the alchemy master to change the pill formula on the spot, and assisting the alchemy master to refine a peak grade 5 pill. The leading elder, Elder Bai Mei, laughed loudly as if he hadn't been so happy in a long time. His eyes shone with a bright light as he laughed. Such a peerless genius can bring honor to our Sky Song Academy if word gets out. Can you bear to lock him up? Compared to this, Yi Xing, who only has himself to blame, is nothing. In the white-clothed little girl's beautiful eyes, there was a rare passion of cherishing talent and teaching her son. Most importantly, this child is not yet 20 years old. His future will be filled with limitless possibilities. We have already decided that student Lin Shun will be listed as the 5th Purple Merit Examinee. As for why he was exempted from punishment, Lin Shun naturally knew in his heart. He had come into contact with the ancient families one after another, and his deeds were at a level that shocked the world. More or less, the higher-ups in the headquarters knew that it was not worth punishing him, for Yi Xing Lin Shun had just arrived at the mission hall and received the mission reward points that were supposed to be his with Lu Ying and the rest, when suddenly, a few people flew through the air and ran in, panting. "Class Rep Lin Shun, we finally found you. Big Brother Lin Shun, things are bad. Senior Su Lan and the rest have been caught. Big Brother Lin Shun, sob, help." Something happened to Juan Hao and Gu Qinfeng. Lin Shin focused his gaze and saw that it was Shangwan Bihan and Yu Lin Lin, as well as Zhang Yu and Yin Haitang, whom he had not seen in a long time. Everyone looked anxious, especially the honest Zhang Yu. When he saw Lin Shun, it was as if he had seen his savior. A grown man like him cried on the spot. "What happened? Tell me slowly." Lin Shin's expression was solemn as he immediately comforted everyone. Shangwan Bihan was burning with anxiety and was the first to speak. "It's a large-scale team mission that we accepted a month ago. At that time, Juan Hao, Ying Liang, Zhang Yu, Sister Su Lan, and Sister Su Lan happened to be there. Then we participated in this mission together. Yin Haitang took over the conversation and spoke quickly. However, after the mission was successful, we were trapped in a fog in a mountain range. Then, we encountered a Blue Merit senior from the academy, a senior named Long Xiangyu. He took everyone away. Only Bihan, Zhangyu, and I were not with everyone when we were exploring the mountain range. That was why we were not taken away. Long Xiangyu, Lin Tianjian, and Lu Ying's expressions changed slightly. Every senior in the academy was familiar with this name. He was one of the 4 Blue Merit prodigies in the Heavenly Song Academy, known as the most promising candidate for the Purple Merit rank. It was not an exaggeration to say that his status in the academy was like the sun in the sky. Then, Zhang Yu wiped his tears and said emotionally, "At that time, I wanted to rush out and fight with Long Xiangyu. However, in order to signal me not to rush out, Chen Feng forcefully resisted and attracted his attention. He then crippled one of his arms on the spot. He even said that he would sell everyone to a place called the Abyss Island." Yulin Lin's expression was solemn as he spoke seriously. "Regarding this matter, we have already reported it to the Elder Council. However, the Elder Council said that we must contact Long Xiangyu himself to confirm it. Moreover, we must have enough evidence before the Elder Council can investigate." The meaning of this sentence was obviously to protect Long Xiangyu. This was a matter of life and death. Why would they wait for someone to contact them? From the expressions of the crowd, it was enough to see how helpless and hopeless they were when they saw their companions being taken away from them in the dark. Therefore, after they returned to the academy, they deeply felt that only Lin Shun could help them in this matter. Lu Ying's beautiful eyes trembled slightly. She only glanced at Lin Shun and did not even dare to look directly at Lin Shun. At this moment, Lin Shun's expression was very calm. But within those calm eyes, there was a monstrous fury that had never been seen before. Chapter 284. Crack. The space around Lin Chun began to crack slightly. His calm eyes were burning with a monstrous rage. Seeing this, Elder Yuan hurriedly stopped him. "Little guy, this is not a trivial matter. It's better to report it to the elders. With your current influence, you should be able to bang." Boom! Lin Chun stomped his foot on the ground, causing the entire mission hall to shake violently. It was as if space itself was being shaken. The entire sky island shook slightly. Everyone in the hall was shaken to the point that their bodies swayed. Lu Ying's beautiful eyes were filled with shock. It had only been a short while, but Lin Chun had become many times stronger than when he fought the demonic dragon. "I know about the Abyss Island. Leave the rest to me. Don't worry, I will bring everyone back safely. As for that Long Xiangyu, I, Lin Chun, will take his dog life." Lin Chun's figure trembled after he said those words. "Lin Chun, you can't." Elder Yuan shouted and stretched out his old palm. The space force rotated and solidified, trying to force Lin Chun to stay. He only took one step and disappeared from the hall. There was no trace of his aura in the space around him. Old Yuan and the other elders all sucked in a breath of cold air. What a terrifying speed. I'm afraid his speed has surpassed most of the blue rank movement techniques in the academy. Quickly inform the elders and send someone to the Abyss Island. Damn it, this kid is crazy enough to tear down the sky. How long has it been? I can't even stop him with the strength of my crippled body. Elder Yuan said anxiously. He couldn't help but curse. This is F** King Neverending. He just provoked Yi Jueshing and now Long Xiangyu. If Elder Yuan knew that Lin Chun had already formed a grudge with Fu Wanquan, he would probably faint from anger. Outside the Heavenly Song Academy, Qinghai's city by Ruin, who had carefully disguised herself, was sitting in a restaurant, thinking about the information she had collected in the past 2 days. She held a cup of fine wine and rested her chin on her hand. While she was deep in thought, her face suddenly changed. Why did this little guy come out 2 days after returning to the academy? And he's so fast. Bai Ruoyan's beautiful figure flashed. After leaving behind a few spirit stones on the table, she entered the void and disappeared. Little guy, what's wrong? Are you suddenly thinking of meeting your little lover? Oyan said with a smile as she arrived by Lin Chen's side through the void. Just as she finished speaking, Oyan's expression also became serious. This was the first time she had seen Lin Chen reveal such a deep and dense killing intent. Little brother Lin Chen, what happened to you? Oyan asked in a soft and concerned voice. She knew that although Lin Chen was usually mischievous, he was never careless when it came to serious matters. However, she had never seen him reveal such an expression. My companions from the Wasteland Branch Academy were captured and brought to a place called the Abyssal Island. I have to rush there as fast as I can. Otherwise, their lives may be in danger. Lin Chen's tone was somewhat cold and deep. Oyan frowned. She had recently heard some news about the Abyssal Island. It was said that a large number of ferocious beasts were often transported there. It seemed that a saint from an ancient family was cultivating some powerful and terrifying ancient ferocious beasts there. If the cultivation was successful, the outstanding ferocious beasts would be sold at a high price to many first-rate and second-rate forces. The range and sex involved were extremely wide. If it wasn't for Oyan's strength and rich knowledge, as well as her own intelligence network, it would be impossible for an ordinary Heaven Dipper realm to obtain such information. Little brother Lin Chen, there's a high possibility that a saint is on that island. Are you sure you want to go? Just in case, Oyan still told Lin Chen the truth. Lin Chen was completely unmoved. His cold and indifferent eyes were filled with raging, murderous intent. It seems that this little guy is determined. I wonder which saint has provoked this little guy. Oyan sighed in her heart. She understood Lin Chen's strength and foundation. If he went crazy, even if he couldn't defeat a saint, the other party would lose a layer of skin. Forget it. I'll act according to the circumstances at the crucial moment. Take him away. It's useless to persuade him now. One day later, in the Sky Demon Sea region, Lin Chen knew the route to the Abyssal Island because the Black Fog Island he had been to before was also in this sea region. The Black Fog Island was located in the southern region of the Sky Demon Sea region, while the Abyssal Island was located in the northern region. They were more than 100,000 miles apart. Two streaks of light streaked across the sky. Lin Chen didn't care about the huge consumption of his blue-tier movement technique and swallowed high-grade elixirs without any regard for his life. In the northern region of the sea region, a vast island covered in dense fog came into view. It was so vast that it was even vaster than many huge cities that could accommodate tens of millions of people. Wait a minute, little brother Lin Chen. This island has a spatial boundary personally set up by Yuan Venerate. Oyan stopped Lin Chen and frowned. Then let's fight our way in. No reason can be a reason for me to stop. Lin Chen's eyes were crimson red. His eyes were filled with hysterical, killing intent. Suddenly, Oyan turned around and stared at Lin Chen with her green eyes. While Lin Chen was puzzled, Oyan's slender hand slapped Lin Chen's face. Then, Oyan's slender hand pinched Lin Chen's cheek hard. Oh my God, it hurts. Sister Oyan, what are you doing? Lin Chen was in pain. Oyan held his face and stared at him seriously. Her beautiful lips parted slightly as she spoke in a soft and serious voice. Don't let hatred get to your head. You're not the little brother Lin Chen. I know it all. If we barge in like this, it doesn't matter if the other party has a Yuan Venerate powerhouse present. As long as the other party holds the person you want to save hostage, what will you do? Will you kneel before them or kill them regardless of everything? Oyan's tender and concerned expression stunned Lin Chen. The redness in his eyes gradually subsided. After a few breaths, the youth's deep, dark eyes were replaced with the usual cynicism, as well as a bit of agility and confidence. Thank you, sister. This is the little brother Lin Chen I know. Oyan smiled sweetly. She was as beautiful as a fairy, making Lin Chen scratch his head and smile sheepishly. Then how are we going to get in? Oyan squinted her beautiful eyes and looked down at the island. We can go in. I can open a hole for you to enter without disturbing the boundary. However, this is the disadvantage. I have to maintain the hole in the boundary. If I go in with you and the other party reinforces the boundary, both of us will be trapped inside. Lin Chen nodded thoughtfully. In other words, we will become turtles in a jar. Yes, if I maintain the hole in the spatial boundary, you'll have the opportunity to advance or retreat. However, you'll have to bear all the consequences of your actions. To be honest, I don't want you to take this risk, Byroyan said helplessly. Lin Chen smiled confidently. Don't worry, Sister Royan. I know what I'm doing. I'm here to save someone, not for revenge. Chapter 285. Furthermore, even a Yuan Venerate wouldn't be able to completely control the movements of such a vast island, right? Lin Chen said, half-jokingly. Byroyan nodded seriously. It's indeed impossible. This island is extremely vast. To be precise, it's difficult to even cover one-fifth of it. Although a Yuan Venerate can form a Yuan palace in the Dantian and have the power of a heaven and earth minor manifestation, it's not a problem to simply search and search. However, it's really unrealistic to monitor every moment. Byroyan looked at the determined young man and sighed softly. Her beautiful figure flashed and arrived at the sky above the island. Her slender fingers danced in the void, and a thin spatial light that was as thin as gossamer rotated in a circular arc condense. Byroyan shouted coldly. A circular gap suddenly appeared in the invisible boundary that was frozen in the void. Then, it solidified at lightning speed, not allowing any spatial ripples to spread out. Remember, little brother Lin Chun, you must protect yourself when you encounter powerhouses that you can't defeat. If something happens to you, then I will have to bear even more blood feuds. You don't want me to walk down this path, right? Byroyan's green eyes revealed some helplessness as she sighed softly. Lin Chen boldly took the initiative to hold Byroyan's soft hand. He smiled slightly and nodded without saying anything. Then, with swift steps, he sneaked into the island in a flash. After sneaking into the Abyss Island, Lin Chen discovered that the situation on the island was completely different from what he saw outside the boundary. Slaughter, blood, and violence filled the entire island. Lin Chen used his purple-gold eyes to investigate slightly. Within his observation range, there were more than 200 level 5 savage beasts gathered. Most of them were above level 5 savage beasts. What a terrifying number. This is only a corner of the Abyss Island. Based on this ratio and the density of the savage beasts, wouldn't there be more than 2,000 level 5 savage beasts on the entire Abyss Island? Lin Chen was a little shocked. If he had attacked in anger earlier, he would not have been able to deal with the Yuan Venerates and Shengzis here. Just these ferocious beasts alone would have been enough to make him and the ancient green dragon suffer. However, 2,000 level 5 savage beasts. To me, as long as I destroy them one by one, they'll be walking vitality attribute light balls. Lin Chen's eyes flashed with an ominous glint, but what he needed to do now was to find everyone. According to Byroyan's information, in the ferocious beast auction held in the Abyss Island, a large number of Heaven Dipper realm humans would be captured and thrown here for the ferocious beasts to devour. This was to show the ferocious beast's ability and fighting characteristics against humans. Lin Chen wanted to find Bai Juanhao and the others before the ferocious beasts attacked. The myriad layer fire web incantation tightly wrapped Lin Chen's own aura, making him look like a pebble on the side of the road, completely inconspicuous. Azure Dragon Shadow. Just in case, Lin Chen transformed into a miniature version of the ancient Azure Dragon. After using the Azure Dragon Vanishing Shadow, his body turned completely transparent. With a flash, the transparent Lin Chen disappeared into the island. On the Abyssal Island, there was an ancient pagoda that was 10,000 meters tall. The ancient pagoda was filled with luxury, delicacies, wine, meat, and beautiful women. Everything one could wish for was here. The atmosphere was extremely extravagant and luxurious. At this moment, all the people in the pagoda were famous figures and masters of sex in the spiritual state. The weakest ones were from the top second-tier forces and first-tier sects, and they had an eternal foundation. They gathered here for only one purpose: to buy ferocious beasts. That's right. The transactions on the Abyssal Island were similar to the transactions in the black market. They bought controllable ferocious beasts to provide stronger and more stable forces for their sections. Generally speaking, high-level ferocious beasts had high intelligence, and it was difficult for them to be subdued by humans. However, it was different on the Abyssal Island. This was because the one who subdued the ferocious beasts was by Tianqi, also known as the Tianqi Saint. Every 2 years, the Tianqi Saint would transport a large number of ferocious beasts and capture a large number of Heaven Dipper realm humans to be placed on the island to hold the ferocious beast auction. Here, ferocious beasts and humans would kill each other. The ferocious beasts that showed enough potential and combat strength would be bought at a high price, and the captured humans would be devoured by the ferocious beasts in the end. Everyone, now that all the ferocious beasts are in place, our auction will officially begin. Let us enjoy the miserable cries of those lowly wild dogs and admire their despair before their death. Let us experience the ferocious beast's beauty of violence. At this moment, a feminine voice of a young man slowly entered the ancient pagoda. The leaders of the forces and the masters of the sects all shouted excitedly, "Swoosh! Swoosh! Swoosh!" A total of 320 demonic eye stones projected the light screens in front of the masters, and many ferocious beasts as tall as mountains appeared on the light screens. Some ferocious beasts had begun to fight with each other, and some were hunting the Heaven Dipper realm humans scattered on the island. From time to time, the shrill screams of humans would enter the pagoda, and the masters would laugh at them. Some of the humans formed teams to hunt the ferocious beasts, but most of them could only be used as food to show off the strength of the ferocious beasts. They were no match for the ferocious beasts. Most of the human martial artists placed on the island were below Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 6. Compared to a large number of mid-tier 5 and high-tier 5 ferocious beasts, their resistance was completely ineffective. Every ferocious beast had a conspicuous mark on its body so that it would be convenient for the buyers to bid. Number 159 Scarlet Disaster Sword Tiger actually devoured 3 Heaven Dipper Realm Stage 2 cultivators. Interesting, I bid a mid-tier 5 artifact and a mid-tier 5 battle skill. In the main hall, a bewitching woman who was ravaging 2 beautiful young men suddenly saw the scene on the light screen. Her bewitching eyes lit up as she raised the bidding card on the soft bed beside her. The shrewd servant in the main hall immediately recorded the bid of this beautiful woman. If someone bid higher than her, the servant would inform her verbally. "Bitch Chin, you mother of asterisk her, you can play with your man. Why are you fighting with me?" The red-browed, muscular man, with 4 beautiful maids on his left and right cursed. Then he shouted, "Number 159 Scarlet Tiger, I've bid 2 mid-tier 5 battle skills and a mid-tier 5 artifact." As soon as the auction started, buyers from all walks of life started bidding for the ferocious beasts they wanted. It was very lively. The sects and forces gathered in the ancient pagoda involved at least 200 families and forces in the spiritual state. The scene was very lively. Inside a luxurious and noble room on the top floor of the ancient pagoda, the jade screen, made of pure green jade, was open layer by layer. A feminine young man in a purple robe as dark as ink sat on the dragon throne, swirling a 1,000-year-old wine in his hand. His face was full of superiority, and his expression was arrogant. Between the young man's eyebrows, there was a lifelike Qilin seal that seemed to exude a natural nobility. Since birth, he was superior to all living beings by countless levels. He was by Tianqi, the holy son of the Bai family. He was the descendant of a genuine ancient family and was destined to stand at the peak of the spiritual state in the future. The competition between the ancient families was based on the number of saints' sons and saintesses. They were the leaders and pioneers of the era. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.